Peace, everyone. So let me know if y'all can see me. All right. I didn't want to have y'all waiting. I ain't gonna be disrespectful to y'all. So let me know if y'all can see me. I'm looking over here, y'all, because I'm on like two different computers right now. I didn't want to have y'all. Okay. Hello. Okay, so I see Frankie. Hello. Hey, Henderson Lexus. Juju Goddess. Peace. So I'm happy everybody that's in the building. Okay. I just didn't want to have y'all. I know y'all been waiting, y'all, because I'm excited about this too. So I'm waiting for ASHERA. I spoke to her earlier. And we were messaging on Facebook. So she had to push it back to 8:30. And so I'm waiting for her now. But I'm excited about this, y'all. So anyways, before she gets in here, I wanted to talk to y'all. So the topic of tonight is really relationships and dating. Also, we're talking about self-love, about knowing your worth, about knowing your value. Also, before I get into it, y'all, I'm excited. I'm gonna be a little bit of everywhere tonight because first of all, there's been so much going on behind the scenes. You know, y'all, how many subscribers do we have? Because this is us. I think we have like about 45K plus subscribers. Shouts out to everybody who subscribed to the channel. Shouts out to everybody who's in the building. As a matter of fact, I'm doing a giveaway tonight. Also, y'all, if it's good, if y'all can hear me good and I'm not delayed or anything like that, if y'all can please do me a favor and press 1. Thank you, Blood Diamond. So shouts out to y'all. Shouts out to everybody that's part of the Patreon group, the Patreon community. If you have not joined Patreon already, that's something that you might want to do. Okay, there's already loads of content on there. There's over 100 videos on there to catch up on when you get into the group. Okay, so take time, go back through the meditation challenges, the chakra healing challenges, the daily food for thoughts. We're taking things to the next level. I haven't introduced it publicly yet, y'all, but we're having a Pretty Boss TV ladies only healing retreat December 7th through the 9th. Okay, already going down, already reserved. Everything's already booked and ready to go. So 16 of the Patreon, our Patreon people from our Patreon group, 16 of us are going to be in this mansion, but I'm also going to do it on a day to where anybody who wants to be part of it can also get your tickets and come down to be part of the healing retreat. Okay, because the main day, Saturday, that's when we're going to be getting it in. So y'all, okay, I see the ones. So y'all, oh, Infamous Diva C, please. So okay, I'm glad. So y'all, when I tell y'all it's going down, also I wanted to let y'all know it's finally apparel ready to go. This is a t-shirt dress I have on. I would get up and model for y'all, but that's not this type of channel. But y'all make sure that you follow Pretty God Tees on Instagram. Okay, matter of fact, let me put that in the chat. Okay, y'all can follow it at Pretty God Tees on Instagram if you're interested in getting, just spiritual and occult apparel. All right. So let's get into it. Hold on, let me check, y'all. I'm just trying to make sure. So let's get into it. All right. I'll wait for ASHERA, but we gonna start already. Let's talk about relationships and dating. I haven't done a video like this on this channel because y'all know I like to just stick to speaking about healing, speaking about spirituality. And I'm trying to put the chat on this computer so I don't have to keep turning my head because I love to be in the chat. So y'all give me a second. I'm trying to get in the chat on this computer. Okay, here we go. I'm about to be in here with y'all so I could just be on one space. All right. So y'all give me a second. I'm trying to get in the chat. Okay, so all right. So I'm here now. Because I'm doing this from Google Hangouts. This is a little bit different from the platform I usually use. So here we go. Chani's in the building. Okay, so first of all, before I even start, we're about to start. But shouts out to all of my sisters who are part of the group. Shouts out to all of my sisters from the Patreon community. Okay, love y'all to death. I'm glad to see Chani's in the building. I saw Infamous Diva C. Jasmine said, thanks for putting on to Brother Panic. Look, Brother Panic is the truth, y'all. I wouldn't have had him on the channel if he wasn't. Oh, shouts out to Al Too Smooth, y'all. That's somebody that's from my city, somebody who I went to school with. I'm gonna be doing a collaboration with Al Too Smooth, the mountain biker. So y'all make sure that y'all check him out. Powerful collaboration I got coming with him that I know is going to help so many of you in many different ways. Okay, so all right, let's talk about it. Relationships and dating. Let's talk about self-worth, knowing your worth. All right, any fellas in the building, shout out to all my fellas. Love y'all. Y'all know I love y'all. But we have to talk about this, ladies. All right, one thing about Pretty Boss TV, y'all know that I talk about bosshood. Y'all know that I talk about these types of things, you know, about being a business mom, a businesswoman, you know, being independent, doing your own thing. But I haven't really came back and had the time to have the discussion with y'all about relationships and dating. You know, like, does Pretty Boss date? You know, who, you know, what's going on behind the scenes. So I want to talk about this because one common thing that I see that's an issue, this still being just perpetuated, is the idea that, you know, you have to be an independent woman. So this is true. And before I proceed to say what I'm going to say, let me say this. I was just talking to my mother about this. And I told, oh, yeah, shouts out to Vanity Music. I'm not forgetting about the fellas, okay? So, okay, so Leticia just hit me back, y'all. She says, hi, one sec. So Leticia is active on Facebook, so she's about to be in the building. All right. But the fact of the matter is, you still have, my dad always told me this, y'all. I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. My dad always told me, one thing that I'm going to give you advice is to never have to depend on a man. Never have to. And my dad was never the type to be down your throat. I had a cool dad. I had the type of dad that when he says something is profound, he's not going to beat your head. He's not going to tell you what to do. But when he says something, he's just going to slide some food for thought. And that's something that my dad always told me, never have to depend on a man. So with that being said, that's the premises. And that's my foundation. That's at my root. But I want to talk about when we're dating as bosses, what's appropriate. First of all, being a mother, being now a single mother, a mother who was married. We're going to get into that discussion later too, because that's a complicated discussion to have. But being somebody who's married, y'all, being somebody who's now single, having to raise a kid, having to be independent, I'm going to tell you, you have to be smart. You have to think about things from both sides, okay? All our lives, especially with the Beyonce movement, you know, if he be independent, all this type of stuff, Webby, who know about Webby, y'all from down south? All right, Webby, IND, independent, okay? Oh, just one second, y'all. So we've had these thoughts shoved down our throat. Now we look back years later, and all we see around is a whole bunch of independent women. What I'm trying to tell you is you have to be both. You have to be independent, but you have to also allow a man to be a man. And that's what me and sorry, her name's different on Facebook, but that's what me and ASHERA'S about to get into in a second. All right. So even with me, okay, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna lay this foundation by saying this. If you're not familiar with ASHERA, I'm gonna try to see if I can get her channel link. All right. Let me try to pull up my Patreon really quick. I'm gonna try to get her channel link. At least in the future, I'm gonna put her on. But if you're familiar with her channel, one of the last things that you will see is she's talking about. And shouts out to Sonya. I don't see Sonya in the chat, but that's somebody from our Patreon community who actually requested to go ahead and bring Sonya in. And what she knows ASHERA for is for speaking about dealing with the right men, dealing with men that have certain means about themselves, having a long-term plan, having long-term goals, not just in your business life, not just in your parenting life, but also when we're talking about relationships and dating, and especially when we're talking about relationships and dating. All right. You want to be holistic. Okay. Jasmine Red said, what's the Patreon link? I'm about to put it in there right now. Just one second, y'all. Just one second. Okay. So that's the Patreon link. Oh, I think I have to do it. Hold on. I'm going to do it again. I think I got to put the HTTP so y'all can just click on it. And like I said, even like when I'm with the apparel line that's up, prettygodtees.com, when y'all go on there, people who are in Patreon, I actually had a coupon code for Patreon members only. So I'm going to be having a lot of coupons every time I do like discounts and stuff like that. Members get access to that. When we're doing retreats, when we're staying in these mansions and in these different resorts, Patreon members get access to stuff like that. Also, when you're talking about the Facebook groups, we have private Facebook groups. We got closed Facebook groups. Facebook groups is popping. I have to give an extra special shout out to Chani, who I saw in the building. Got to give a shout out to Chani. That's my girl right there. That's sis. I met her through our Patreon community, and they all be having the Facebook groups popping, y'all, even when I don't have enough time to be in there. Like, trust me, it's real deal. Okay. Infamous Diva C, yes. I know. All right. Oh, hold on. Wait, do I have? Oh, ASHERA. Y'all, look, check it out, y'all. ASHERA'S in the building. I saw a goddess pop up in the bottom right-hand corner. So I've been yapping it up. Let me go ahead, y'all, and let Ashera get it. I'm gonna let the goddess introduce herself, and then we're gonna get into it, y'all.
Hi, y'all. Okay, so how are y'all? I just got on. I'm a Shira Star Goddess, also Shira7. I have like 2 YouTube channels. And I think, Pretty Boss and we have similar views on a lot of things. So that's why we're doing this, collab. So what were y'all talking about before I came on?
So before you came on, we were just talking behind the scenes. I was basically talking about how, my channel, I talk about how to be a pretty boss, how to, do this spiritual work, how to get this money. If you're on the Patreon group, we talk about different things like that. So I was telling them it's one thing to be an independent woman, but you have to have balance. And especially when you're talking about becoming a mother. I once had the mentality of you have to be independent. I don't need a man for nothing. And I was married. Right now, I know this is going to be an update for everybody who follows Pretty Boss TV, but I'm actually legally separated still, y'all. But the divorce that's done. That's done on a spiritual level, okay? But coming out of that situation and having to be a single mother, now I go about life a lot differently. And when I was in that relationship, that was probably one of the few relationships that I tried to have the mentality like, oh, well, I'm not going to judge a man by what he got. I'm just going to follow my heart. Now, prior to that, I was used to dating a particular type of guys. In this relationship, it was different. And it made me realize that when we're talking about relationships and dating, when we're talking about being a boss, you have to be holistic. Yes, you have to be independent. You should be able to have your own stash. You should be able to have something on the side to lean back on. But when we're talking about long-term goals, when we're talking about motherhood, when we're talking about becoming a wife, you have to also know how you fit men in the equation, okay? And for Ashera, from what I've seen from her channel, she shares some great content. Even if you don't agree with 100% of everything that she's saying, I guarantee you, if you listening with an open mind, there's many gems that you could take home and apply it to your life to really get the results that you want, not only in relationships, but in anything that you do. So with that being said, I hope that updates you. You can go ahead and speak, Queen. I want you to talk about, just give your perspective on being independent as a woman, but also allowing a man to do what he's supposed to do in your life as well.
Okay. Well, I grew up around independent women, but who always wanted or needed a man. Okay. So I watched, a woman, my mother, my sister, um, you know, very independent women. But when the man came in the picture, oh, the man got to take care of everything. So because they could do bad by themselves, basically. But I learned from an early age that most people, especially in relationships, argue over money. After you fall out of love or become too much in love or you're too comfortable, then that money starts to become that issue. And you can't do what your friend is over here doing. You can't go on no vacation because you were so in love, you forgot to look at everything else. Forgot to look at that paperwork and how they spend money and their priorities and all that stuff to figure out if we're going to be a responsible adult who could secure and protect their family financially. You forgot to look at all that because you just was too in love or too infatuated, I'll say. So a lot of us get sidetracked in thinking, oh, this is a soulmate and we have a connection and all this blah, 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 blah stuff. But when all of that is said and done, and you sit in the darkness because your light bill is not paid, you know, you have to be balanced, like you said. You got to have that logic and that emotion, the masculine and the feminine thinking. That's the whole point of marriage. And if he's more in a feminine thinking and you're in the feminine thinking, then who's going to be the man?
Exactly. And that's the key, and I feel like that's something that you learn as you become a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like as you mature, some people understand this young, some women never get it. But if you're being exposed to this, I think that you should pay attention because this changes everything. what one thing that I wanted to touch on that you said is that finances in a relationship is one of the things that kills marriages. And that's facts, y'all. I'm not going to put all my personal background history to get into my ex-husband's business or none of that, but finances is a big factor. You're already going to have issues in a relationship. Even perfect relationships are going to have issues. So when you have those everyday issues, needless to say, adding a child to the equation, and then you're talking about having financial issues. That's why we see such a high divorce rate. So it's so funny. I've seen some of ASHERA'S videos. I've seen some of the lives, and I'll see certain people come in the comments and they're like, oh, this is gold digging. She's talking about gold digging. Why should a man have to have this? Why should a man have to have that? Because if you trying to get with a woman anyway, if you having sex anyway, you should have that. Because one thing about when we have sex, one thing that can come out of that is children. So if you a man and you know you don't even have means to take care of yourself or another woman, far less a child, you shouldn't really even be out here having sex or trying to get with a woman. You should be trying to get your means right before you even think about doing that. So with that being said, I just wanted to hop in. Facts about finances. I've seen people come in the comments for sure talking about gold digging. This is not a matter of gold digging. Ladies, don't ever let anybody get in your head talking about that gold digging. You have to think, like ASHERA is saying, from a holistic perspective. Another reason I have this queen on here is because one thing that you always want to do is listen to somebody who's not only speaking from a place of something that sounds good, but speaking from a place of experience. She's married. She has both of her children with her husband, and she's well taken care of. She's also now her own boss. I've been meaning to say I have to say ASHERA is definitely a pretty boss. That's why I reached out, y'all. I'm only going to have other pretty bosses on the channel. So with all that being said, I want you to go into it. Also, I think, don't you have a book? Speak about the book that you have. Speak about your group. And then just talk about it. Let's talk about gold digging. Let's talk about that. Let's clear that up.
Well, in other cultures, it's not called gold digging. It's not called gold digging in other cultures. It's only called gold digging to people that are not financially stable. Because if I was a gold digger, I wouldn't be married right now. I would be in and out, hit it and quit it, get your money and get on to the next one. It's called being responsible and choosing the proper mate who can secure a family in future generations. It's setting up your future generations because long ago, marriage was not intended for love. It was intended for preserving a bloodline or land or combining wealth or having the woman that you want to bear your children because you are of a certain wealth and you want only the type of woman that you can choose because of her beauty. So it's almost like people didn't marry for love. They married for I want to say more grounded reasons.
Exactly. Like one time I watched one of your videos and you said marriage is a contract. Anybody who's married knows that's an absolute fact. Okay. Everybody who's on the other side of the fence who's never been married, everybody says, oh, it's love. I want to fall into love with my soulmate or my twin flame. And they don't realize that marriage is a contract. So with that being said, you were the first person I heard put it like that. So speak on it from that perspective.
Well, marriage is a contract because you're signing papers. You're signing legal documents. Okay, you have to go to court, to judges, to lawyers, to even divorce. Okay, you got to go to the courthouse to get married. So it is a legal binding of two people. So you don't, if you're going to be in a marriage and what I say, play Bob the Builder chick with, if you're going to help that man become the man he was supposed to be already, you're a partner. You're not a wife. You don't need to marry to be a business partner. You could just open up a business and put yourself down as partner. So this is what I'm saying. If you're going to marry someone, you are not a business partner. It is just a contract stating, the conditions, keyword conditions of the marriage, because it's conditional love. It's not unconditional, because as soon as you break one of those conditions, guess what? It could be over. So anyone who's talking about unconditional love, true love, that only exists between mother and children. So stop looking for it in a man unless he is your what? Son.
Facts. So absolutely. And another thing I want to talk about now, I don't know what's the status, because I did see that you posted a video lately about the level up group. Everybody's not ready. Everybody ain't meant for the level up group. But before you can talk about getting a man of means or doing any of that stuff, one thing that you have to do, ladies, is level up yourself. Okay. And it's more than one way to level up. Of course, we can talk about leveling up look wise, book wise. Okay. But talk about leveling up, Ashera. I think you're the first person I've heard saying that too. I've been hearing it a lot lately since I seen it on your channel. So please explain what's leveling up.
Well, y'all know where I got that from, and it's gonna sound crazy because it was from a song. I think it was called, I don't know, it's like some Lupe Fiasco song I was listening to, and Proceed to the Next Level. I think it was called I don't know, I forgot the name of it, but it said like level up. Okay, you're here now. What's next? What can you do to get to the next level? What is holding you back? What do you need in order to get what you want? You know how you play a level on a video game, you keep getting stuck because you don't have the keys, the knowledge, or the skill or the tools to do whatever you need to do to get to the next level. Um, well, it requires certain objects you got to procure and certain things you got to do, certain jobs you got to do before you can level up on a lot of video games. So I was trying to explain it to men if they understand video games. And I said, y'all just got to level up to the next level in this simulation. And everything is basically illusion anyway.
Exactly.
Let's think about it, ladies. You saying wigs, hair, makeup is fake. So are you.
Exactly.
Fake, baby. Even the natural hair is fake.
Exactly. Ashera, you know we going there. Sorry. Go ahead, Queen.
Well, throw it on like the Egyptians did. They had fake hair and makeup too. And they understood it was a simulation.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I was just watching some documentary before I came on here. That's why I'm late. But they understood that you weren't your body. But they understood what looks and beauty could attain on earth. That's why they were always concerned about hair, dress, hair, makeup, clothes, jewelry. And also, when they used these things, they incorporated their spirituality. It was never separate. See, like this little crown, this wasn't just to be cute. This had spiritual meaning, gold, I'm a gold digger, whatever. But gold is a conductor of energy and electricity and thoughts. And certain stones give you certain vibrations. And the colors that they used on their faces were to symbolize certain things: birds, flight, astral travel, where they were from. So a lot of stuff like that, people don't put it together because everybody has separated spirituality, beauty, religion, or spirituality, science, religion, beauty. They separated it and want to keep everything separate when it's all supposed to be one. That's why, you still see monuments and people fascinated with those people because of the combination. And they were the greatest civilization, hands down. So we have to understand that if you keep trying to separate stuff, you're leveling down. You're gonna level down all the way and wonder why, the fake hair and the wigs and stuff, because they did used to wear wigs. They shaved their heads and put a wig on it, or they wore their natural hair and put a wig on it. Why? Who knows?
Exactly. And it's crazy because a lot of times people think that, okay, if you're spiritual, you should look a certain way. You should have your hair this way. You should only wear certain type of jewelry. But even like you saying, everything that you wear has a specific meaning. Everybody who's intentional about their life is very specific in what they do, how they present themselves. And when we're talking about hair, weave, wigs, and makeup, a lot of people like to separate that, like that's different from spirituality. One key thing that you said that I have to go back to, you said everything is an illusion anyway. Let's pause right there, okay? Let's pause right there. Everything's an illusion anyway. And see, that's something that when you master your mind, that's something that you know. And that's the key that a lot of people are missing. When you understand that everything's an illusion, then when you talk about who you are, you know that it's not a matter of who you thought you were, who you were raised to be, who you were indoctrinated to be, who society says that you're supposed to be because you look like this or because you're this skin tone or because your hair grew out like this. But you realize that you are whoever you decide to be. And the way that you present yourself is strategic. It all has to do with what you're trying to get out of this world.
Yeah.
And being the fact that it is an illusion, why is everybody taking these things so seriously? Why? Because people are missing the point. People are pointing the fingers at everything else. Oh, look at this person's hair. Look at this person's makeup. Meanwhile, none of them did the mental alchemy. Everybody's doing, they think the external alchemy. Oh, because I present myself this way, so I look conscious. You got to do the work within. And when you do the work within, without becomes a game. It becomes whatever you want it to be. All right. So I had to say that, Queen. Like you didn't set a mouthful just with that. But again, I don't know if you want to. I know you have some issues because I saw the video about the Level Up group. But please let them know about your Level Up group and a book. Don't you have a? I know that you have a book. I can't remember the title off the top of my head. But please let them know about both of those things.
Okay, so I'll talk about the group and then the book. I have the pre-Level Up group now because we had to start that because not everyone was ready to fully, level up right in the beginning. They had some spiritual and mental and um, personal issues to resolve within first. So that's like the inner work group, getting the understanding of why you deserve the life you deserve, how to let go of guilt of putting yourself first, and um, how to love yourself and make yourself into the person you want to be without asking anybody for permission. That's the pre-level up. The level up group is when you've gotten all that done and you're confident in yourself and you're ready to go out and just slay and to a whole nother level to where you're attracting men of means who are able to secure you and your future generations. Okay, when you can walk out of your house and step into a place and wealthy man or a man of means or just a secure man will cross the room for you to approach you and take you seriously, not try to um, spot a victim, not try to smooth talk you because they already know what type of woman you are. You're not going to take anything. You're only going to take the best. So they got to come with the best. They're not going to offer you a coffee date. They're not going to offer you a walk in the park because you're not that type of woman anymore. You love yourself too much to lower your standards. So when they come correct. And that's what we teach in the Level Up group, as well as how to speak, proper etiquette, how to present yourself, places to go, places to avoid if you don't want to, meet certain type of beings. The mentality that comes with it. Men do not love like women love. We have so many free PDF ebooks in there that teach women about the differences between how men think and how women think. Men don't walk around saying, "Oh, where is my soulmate? Where is my twin flame?" Men don't do that. They walk around saying, "Where is the chick I'm getting ready to figure out how to get some from tonight?" That's what they walk around saying. They're not looking for their wife. They're not looking for their twin flame. So we have to get that in our mind. No matter what they say, we can't listen to them. We got to look for action. So that's what we teach in there. And then we have another group after the Level Up group. It's called the Gold Digging group. Gold Digging group is when you got it down. You got men or a man investing into you so that you can invest into yourself or your own business. Or you know, paying your bills so you can save your money while you work and start your own business. I don't teach just letting women depend on men. I teach them to stash, stack, have that man invest into you and start your own business so that when you turn around, if something should happen, you have yourself. Then you're still good. And you're independent while letting the man lead or think he's leading, but you're respecting him enough not to treat him a certain way because he is beneficial to your life. And you do respect him because he's helping you achieve your goals and dreams while allowing you to save your money and invest into yourself. So that's what we teach in there. We don't teach, oh, just go scam men. Well, some people might get that out of it, but I'm teaching women to secure themselves as a result of this. Don't just go out and buy a bunch of Gucci and Louis Vuitton bags and then, when he leaves, oh my God, I'm broke. No, you should be building businesses.
Exactly. And it's like, even when we're talking about, because see, I wanted to get into talking about self-worth. A lot of times I think that, the men that a women date or the man that a woman chooses is really a reflection of how she felt about herself at that time. So a lot of times, women aren't dating men of means or not even to that level just because within themselves they're not to that level. You don't have that true self-love. I know when I even in one of my previous relationships, it's funny because when I came out of it, I realized like anytime that I was leveling up, as you would call it, like because one issue that I have in my relationship life is that I level up quickly. But one thing that I love about things that such as what ASHERA teaches is it teaches you how to be strategic about everything that you do. Because one thing that she said, okay, you can, even if you're pretending to need him for something. And that's key when you're dealing with men. Even I remember my ex-husband, after I had our child, I remember he looked at me and he said, dang, you're not going to need me anymore. And I never forget that moment because that's important to any man. First of all, first and foremost, we have to understand that as society is evolving, as we're becoming all these bosses, as women have the opportunity to do things that they weren't able to do years ago, that doesn't mean that there isn't still men roles and woman roles. And it's so funny because, especially being the age that I am, I literally grew up in the time of the independent woman. I'm coming to tell you, like, no, it takes two if you're trying to really trying to build a serious empire. And as the woman, we're the one who choose. It's not the men. A lot of women, y'all give y'all energy to men and are giving men the power. But when you take your power back, you realize that it's always the woman who chooses at the end of the day. So we have to be wise about how we're choosing. And when you have certain long-term goals, then you can do that. Also, when you value yourself, you're not just going to let any type of man in your house. You're not just going to let a man in your house. He ain't even paying none of your bills. What is he doing there? He's one step closer to the bedroom, which, as ASHERA said, that was his goal in the first place. So we have to be strategic, ladies. You got to start thinking. And as she's saying, before you even ready for the level up group, you have to pre-level up. The pre-level up is getting that self-love, getting yourself together, seeing your own self-worth. You shouldn't need a man or any type of external relationship to value you. If anything, when you done and you got yourself right, then anybody who's coming in your life, you know what happens? You're not going to accept anybody less than somebody who can add and do something that you can't already do for yourself, or do things like ASHERA saying that you can do for yourself. But since he's doing it, you could put some more of your own money to the side. So I felt like that's the wisest thing. A lot of people try to say, oh, that's gold digging, that's this and that. Really, it's another, I know this is ASHERA term. Dusties, like ASHERA says, only says that. So with that being said, I can't have her on the channel and we don't talk about dusties. So please go into explaining what a dusty is and why they call women with values gold diggers.
A dusty is somebody who's ashy. We talk about dusties as someone who is more concerned with trying to pull the wool over your head and use spirituality or love as an excuse to be poor. Okay. And y'all know the type, the dusty kind, the ashy kind, the ones that's old, tantra, spirituality, marriage is just a piece of paper. You know the dust, dusty ashes. Okay. So, or what about love? And I would rather be poor and in love than rich and not in love. As soon as you bring up the word money, men bring up the word love when they would never want to talk about it in the first place. You've been waiting 20 weeks to hear the word love and you haven't heard it. But as soon as you mention the word money, here it comes. Okay. So when when I say dusty, I mean someone who is using love or their religion or their spirituality or their belief system to justify being broke and getting some.
Exactly. Okay, so I have a question that came in from Chani. I want to ask this because it's a really good question. So Chani says, and shouts out to Chani again, y'all. This is one of my sisters from the group. Y'all need to get in that Patreon, okay? So Chani says, can we talk about how to let a man lead? How does that dynamic look? How do people speak to him? How do you cater, etc.? I hope that makes sense. So basically, I'm gonna say this. For women who are not used to that, or women who used to proving themselves to a man, like, how do you take the step back and let a man lead?
First of all, remember who taught a man. Okay, we got to go back to the source. Remember, let's talk about this. Remember who taught a man. Probably his mother. So everything he's telling you, he got it from a woman anyway, most of it. So being strategic, whatever he says, even if it's wrong and you just want to correct him, or if you have a better idea, hold it. Hold it. Let him finish speaking. Don't overtalk him. Agree, nod, smile. You know, he's trying to impress you, first of all. Ladies, a man is trying to impress you. He's not competing with you. You are not his competition. And if you are, then you are a very masculine woman and he's going to reject you eventually anyway. So you are not his competition. You are there to smile, nod, laugh at his dumb jokes, not correct him, and let him speak. Why? Because he's just trying to impress you. That's it. He's trying to make you choose him, make you think he's worthy of you. And a lot of women don't understand this. They think it's a challenge. Oh, this is an intellectual, stimulating conversation, and the only way that I can impress him is to outdo him, and that is 100% wrong. So you must, whatever he's saying, even if he believes in flat Earth and you don't, or vice versa, just let him. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I never thought about it that way. Wow. You know what? Wow, I'm gonna do some research on it. Don't just say no, that's wrong. You da da da. Or if he's saying something and you don't agree with it, just like, oh well, wow, I never thought about it that way. Let him impress you. Wow, I learned something new every day from you. That's the same thing as saying whatever. I ain't never heard that in my life, but okay. It's the same thing, but you're doing it nice. And he still walks away feeling like a man. He still walks away thinking he impressed you. He's now thinking, oh, yeah, this is the type of woman I can deal with because she lets me be a man. There is no competition. I feel better when I'm with her. I feel so masculine now. And like I taught her something, even probably y'all did, but she let me play the role of a man. And that is why a lot of women and men don't make it because they're in competition with each other. So remember, ladies, he's just trying to impress you like a little kid. Like a little kid comes up and tries to teach you something that they learned and you already learned it because you went to school 20 years ago, but you're letting them tell you anyway because you want them to feel smart. You want them to feel good about what they learned and that they can repeat it and that they can impress you and make you proud. That's just it. That's all you got to do. It's not dummying down, it's being polite. If you were in a job interview and I'm reading the comments, and your potential boss had said something wrong, would you correct him? It's your money now. Remember, he's your investor, your potential investor. So You don't have to dummy down. You can just say, oh, that's very interesting.
And I don't mean to cut you off, Queen, but I see something I want to speak on in here in the chat. So, because I see people talking about dummying down, this and that. So, somebody says, how do you become comfortable with faking it? So, I want to speak about that because this isn't even a matter of faking it. Okay. This is a matter of choosing your own battles. Now, for one, in relationships, you already, like I said, no relationship is perfect. Even whoever, y'all know how y'all do hashtag relationship goals and all that, whoever you hashtag in relationship goals, their relationship is not perfect. You're gonna have issues, so you have to choose your battle. So what Ashera is saying is you basically pick your battles. You know how many things relationships and a woman will argue with a man about that doesn't even mean anything. Like she's saying, it's like, oh, that's interesting, I love that. Perfect. That's you. It's about being smart. You see, when you're able to master this, even if you're talking about relationships, y'all, this is not, when you can see a person speaking from this type of wisdom, this doesn't only apply to relationships. This applies to all aspects of your life. Just like she tried to say, when you're doing a job interview, do you go in there? You might be turned up at the club with your homegirl Saturday, right? But when you go into a job interview, you present yourself in a certain way out of respect and out of having a certain goal. So when you have a goal and you have a strong goal in regards to your relationship and your purpose of you choosing to have this man in your life, then you're able to choose your battles accordingly to make sure that you can maintain that to achieve your end goal. So to me, a person's not dumb at all who gets what they were trying to get the whole time in the end. So I just had to cut in.
Yeah, that's strategic. That's chess, not checkers, baby.
Exactly.
And it's also it's easy to do because men do it all the time. Okay? They do it every day, all day. They tell you what you want to hear to get what they want from you. They will lie to you to get what they want from you. They will promise you something and never deliver. They don't feel any type of discomfort for doing that. They're not walking around feeling they're not real or keeping it real. They feel like the end goal is what they're focused on. And we should be the same way because we're devaluing ourselves if we give ourselves up too freely. All you're doing is making yourself just as, y'all, I gotta say it now, and I'm sorry and I apologize, but Chris Rock said it first. Okay. I'm not gonna curse, but the P is not free.
Mm-hmm.
The other one, the penis is free, but the other thing is not free. You want so when I'm saying free, I mean they have to earn that. They have to invest in you mentally, physically, with dating and courting you, and emotionally. You know, you have to make them invest in you first and foremost for them to even get close to it. Because if you only go on 3 dates to the movies, to Starbucks, and they can get it right after that, why do they have a reason to come back to you?
Exactly.
They haven't invested anything. They don't feel like, dang, I done spent all this money on her, been with her for 2 weeks in a row, gotten to know her. I feel a connection with her now. They don't have any of that because they didn't spend enough time with you. They didn't invest enough into you. So it's easy to let you go because they didn't invest a thing. If you, if somebody gives you something, and you're not, once you use it a couple times, it's like, oh, but if you have to save up money to purchase something and work hard, save up to buy it, you're going to take better care of whatever you just worked hard for to buy. You're going to take care of that. You're not going to mistreat it. You're not going to throw it on the floor or whatever it is. You're going to say, this is an investment. I'm going to take care of it and I appreciate it. So that's how we have to look at ourselves, as valuable and investment pieces, not disposable pieces. Okay. Remember that song Fine China? Not a paper plate.
Exactly. And it's like that's the main issue that I see with a lot of women. It's like just not know, like even being scared to ask, like, how do I ask a man for money? It's so funny because I'm tell y'all this, like Ashera says something key. When you're a certain type of woman, they already know how they have to approach you before they come across a room. Now, that's not saying the dust is not going to look. They're going to look, but they know what it is. They know that that's not even, they can't even touch that. But certain type of men, they're going to come into your life and offer you these things. Can I pay your bills? That's when you know you done leveled up, because when they approaching you, they're already coming at you with that. And that's very important, because like she's talking about, even when we're talking about men, what do we know that a lot of men love? A lot of them love their money. You know, that's how men compete. Instead of, you know, when we were in school, it's like, did you make an A? Did you make a C? People competed with grades. Men compete in the real world with money. It's like, well, look, you know, it's a status thing. So again, being that is something that's prevalent, that is something that, even though with all the independent women in the world, we still look at men as supposed to be the household, you know, holding the household down. You have to understand that if he is serious about any type of investments he's making, he's also going to be serious about the woman that he's investing in. And that makes a big difference when a man does have to invest in you. Because when a man done bought you all the equipment for your business, when he didn't help pay for you to go through college, when he's been paying your bills, when he's been spending all this time with you on the phone and doing all of these things, it's not going to be easy for him to just go to the next chick, because he's already in the pocket.
Exactly. You are a mortgage. You are an investment. You are a long-term investment. And if he leaves, he loses. That's exactly. I'm answering the someone's question. She says, "What if they invest and the result is the same and they leave anyway?" Well, you leave with something.
Oh, please let me look. I'm gonna say this. I'm sorry to cut you off, Queen. Let me say this, okay? My mother told me as a child, not as a child, but as I was growing older, she always told me this. She said, "Well, if a man broke your hearts, you already broke his pockets." And I used to look at her like, "Mom, how could you say that?" But being a grown woman now, everything that my mother was trying to teach me and show me in life, I get it. That's the key. Like, okay, let's say y'all do break up. Well, guess what? You didn't lose at least the time that you put into the relationship. If you had kids with this man, that whatever you sacrificed with your physical body, the time that you sacrificed that you could have been with other men who could take care of you, you didn't waste your time, because guess what? You still have all of this that he invested into you already. So it's not a lose-lose. So do you want to lose, or do you want to come out with a win? That's what this discussion is about.
Someone in your comments just says, "How do we invest in him?"
Wow. So y'all haven't seen ASHERA'S.
You just show up and bless him with your presence. That's it. That is it. Bless him with your presence. If he can afford for you to have a child and stay home and raise it, bless him with that too. But that's it. You get to help him carry on his bloodline. How about that? That's it. That's all you need to be doing. If you're doing anything else, that's on your own accord and out of the kindness of your heart, but don't expect the same in return. Because when you give, it should be freely, not to receive in return. Right? Because a lot of women will say, "Well, I did this for you and I did that for you and you still left me." Well, that was your choice.
Exactly.
So you give whatever you want to give, but don't look for anything back.
Exactly. And see, I love the balance. You see how this how you know she's real about what she's talking about, because that's key. Don't give and with expectation. The same way a lot of reason that women aren't comfortable letting men do what they're supposed to be doing in the first place, paying for this, paying for that, is because they think automatically, well, if he gives me this, maybe he's thinking I'm supposed to give him this. No, anything that a man gives to you is out of his free will. Okay, that's first and foremost that you need to understand. So don't ever feel like, oh, well, he did all of this for me. He spent all this money on me. He did this. I should do this. Or if I make him spend all this money on me, he's going to have to do this. I'm here to tell you firsthand, no, he don't. You don't got to give him anything to do nothing.
Exactly. You should just say thank you and keep it moving.
Exactly. So I have a book here. I know that you're familiar with this book. I know we probably read a lot of the same books, but this is The Art of Seduction. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I know you read this because I know you're familiar with the 48 Laws of Power, and I was talking about this in one of our Facebook groups. I haven't gotten a chance to completely read this book, but just from like the first, the introduction and how it talks about the different dating types, I was intrigued. So I want to talk about this. This goes hand in hand with the 48 Laws of Power. I don't want to stand up right now, but also have that book. I want to speak about women understanding that you are the one with the value, because people will hear you say, well, just show up, and they don't understand why you're saying that. See, ASHERA'S able to say just show up because she knows her worth. She doesn't have anything to prove. That's not her job. That's his job.
If a man asks you what you bring to the table besides, sex, this is what you got to tell him. I'm not bringing sex to the table. What would you like me to bring instead in its place? He will get up and walk out because that's all they really want. They already expecting it. They're saying, "What else are you bringing besides?" Like, I'm not bringing sex. What are you talking about? Besides, no. You know, when they ask that question, they're trying to trick you into thinking you're automatically are supposed to give it to them anyway. So what else do you bring in besides sex? Well, I'm not bringing it on, taking it off the table. Period. You still want to date? So next time they ask you what you bring to the table besides sex, tell them that.
Okay, and it's another question. This was asked a long time ago. I had just paused it since I got the two different computers going. But I wanted to bring this up. I'm going to speak on this, and then you can add anything you want to as well. This is from Raina Marie. So shouts out to you. She says, so what happens if you already have children? Is the single mother doomed? So I got to speak on that, y'all, because y'all know I'm a single mother. So of course not. The single mother is not doomed. If anything, you should have more wisdom as a woman if you have a child and you're single. Now you should really have the game down. You see what I'm saying? Because now it's not only you. If you couldn't have enough self-worth for yourself to make the right decisions, you should at least have the mind to make the right decisions and who you picking more wisely now that you have a child, because it's not just you anymore, it's both. With that being said, I don't want to put personal relationships on blast, but somebody who I know has children. She had multiple children before she got into the relationship that she's in now. The man who she's with now, they also have a child together, and he takes care of all of her kids and her, okay, with love and care, okay? So no, the single mother is not doing. When you level yourself up, none of that matters. Oh, and let me tell y'all this. As a matter of fact, I'm glad y'all just said this. I really never listened to Tony Robbins like that. I just probably within the past few months heard a couple Tony Robbins videos. I watched his documentary, and the woman that he's married to, I believe he's still married to the same woman. She was older than him for one. I think she was like 10 years older than him or something like that. And she already had 3 kids and he had a child. Now, she didn't have, as we know, Tony Robbins, y'all know how much money Tony Robbins got when I bring his name up. So that was a single woman who came in with kids of all ages, a grown kid, a little kid. She was older than him, didn't have none of that. And he took her and chose her because somewhere she must have leveled up. You see? So none of that matters. Don't use anything that's going on in your circumstance. If anything, take your circumstances and use it towards your end goal. So I just wanted to say that. I don't know if you want to add on to anything about being a single mother and leveling up.
I do. Okay, first of all, if this is your first date, they don't even need to know you have children. First of all, because you still filling them out. You don't have to tell them anything you don't want to tell them. Okay, because you already know they lying to you from start. They lying about something. So they're going to automatically treat you a certain way after they hear you have kids. They're going to switch and shift how they're going to treat you, first and foremost. So you don't tell them you have children until you deem them worthy of being in your life for a while. Because first of all, they may not ever meet your children. You might not ever see him again. You might see him 3 times and be done with him. So during those times that you're going to see him, before you choose to see him long term, he's going to treat you the best he can treat you, because he's not treating you as if, oh, she's a single mother, so she's going to expect I'm going to expect less of her. She's going to do more for me because she's desperate, A, B, C, and D. I say, when the question comes up, do you have children? You don't have to lie about it. You can say if you have 2 or 3 kids, I've always wanted 3 kids. You ain't saying you don't have them. You say you've always wanted 3 kids. Then quickly change the subject. Start talking about something that he's very interested in. So he starts talking and forgets, And the reason I say this is because he's going to change how he's treating you. You might have been getting ready to go to on the next date a nice concert, but now he's going to take the other chick who may not have kids or may have less kids, and he's just gonna take you to Applebee's. So you gotta play strategic. It's strategy, it's not lying. It's strategy. And it's only strategy because once you go out on a couple of dates with him and he's hooked on you, he loves the attention he's getting when he's out with you. He loves how you make him feel. Now he's all, lovey-dovey on you, invested in you, and about to get some maybe because he's invested for the long term. Then you tell him, I have some kids. He ain't gonna care about it. He's gonna be so in love and ready to hit it and totally invested. He don't care anymore. He's like, I thought you was gonna tell me you was a man. Or I thought you was gonna tell me you had some disease. It's just kids? Okay. I can deal with that. You have to set someone up. Whenever you want something, you ask for something bigger. Or you make them think it's something bigger. And like if you want someone to give you a ride, come pick you up or something, if you don't have a car, you don't ask them to come pick you up. You ask them, hey, I'm moving next Saturday. Are you going to be available? I need help packing and moving. Well, no, I can't help you do that. Well, could you just come pick me up then and take me to the store so I can get some boxes or something? Yeah, I can do that because now you got them feeling guilty for saying no for moving. That's in the 48 laws of power too. So now you're getting your ride without having to, having them say, oh, well, I can't give you a ride because I'm busy. You worked on that mental. And so doing that by not telling a man you have kids right off the bat until you, keyword, you decide he's worthy, because y'all are working in reverse. Y'all are trying to prove yourselves to him when he's supposed to be trying to prove himself to you. So he don't need to know you have any kids. That's not his business. He might be a child molester trying to come in and find a woman with kids, or he might only date women with kids so he can get cheap dates and have sex easily. Because a lot of women with kids feel like they have to do more in order to keep a man. So he's supposed to be trying to impress you, and he can't do that if he's trying to exploit you. So you don't tell him you have kids right off the bat. You make him invest in you first before that information is privy, because he's not going to tell you he got a wife, a girlfriend, or a couple of babies by a couple of different baby mamas on the first date.
Okay, so this is like you said so much in that. So let's get back into some of this stuff that Shira was talking about. First and foremost, let's go back to one extremely important point I had to almost pause on. Okay, when she said they don't even need to know you have a kid on the first date, or however many kids you have, because first of all, you don't even know what this man's intention is. Now, one thing as a single woman, as a single mother, ladies, you have to be more aware than you ever have been. And especially we're talking about women in the spiritual community. Add spirituality to it. And without using your mind, without having that balance between the mind, body, and soul, you can be food out here for people. Okay. So a lot of men who are coming at you, like she's saying, that's not even none of their business anyway. All right. You never know. A lot of times if a man, let's say you're dealing with a man who's spiritual, right? That's what he says. First of all, you might have to realize he might have read all the same books you did. People can have information and use it in different ways. All right. So realize that just because somebody has the same understanding or read certain type of books, don't let that fool you, and don't let you open up to a man, especially with your children. Don't tell a man about your finances. Your credit score isn't important. None of these things are important to a man. As she's saying, he's the one who's supposed to impress you. Okay. That's what, even in nature, that's what a lot of these animals are trying to do, trying to impress the females to get the female to procreate. So that's what men are naturally bred to do. We're not bred to do that. There's many different things. If you're asking, what do you bring to the table as a woman? That means you still got self-work to do, because that's only a question you can answer. And it's not a flat out answer like, oh, I have a degree. That's what I have to offer. Or, oh, I have a job. Or, oh, I'm a boss. None of that.
I would never answer that question. You should never answer that question. You should be offended and get up and leave in the middle of the day if they ask you that question.
That's absolute facts. You should be offended.
That means they need something from you.
Exactly.
So I don't even answer. I would never answer. I would just get up and walk and leave him at the table by himself and let him figure out what I bring to the table. So I saw some comments, and a lot of women are saying, I'm going to tell them about my kids. Okay, if I was a man and you tell me about your kids, you know what? The first thing I'm going to do? Use them against you. I'm going to use everything you just told me against you to get what I want. Oh, so you got 5 kids? Oh, okay. You got 3 kids? Oh, okay. That's cool. They're going to be real nice about it at first. Then they're going to say, oh, yeah, well, then you're going to keep talking because now you're trying to pull them back in. You're going to tell them more. Well, I got a degree. I make 6 figures. I own everything. Da da da. Then you're giving your resume to be Bob the Builder chick, which means he's sitting back thinking, well, dang, shoot, I can't live in this neighborhood, but maybe with her, I can. I can't drive this car, but maybe if she paying half the bills, I can put the down payment on it and go get the chick I really want. Okay, y'all are setting yourselves up to fail from jump. That is what we teach in Level Up. Y'all are setting yourselves up to fail. I know your kids are your life. My kids are my life. My life. Keyword my. Okay. He didn't come on a date to become a stepfather. Okay. Get him in the door first. Let him take you out to eat a couple times first. Let him get to know you first, before you go and set him up to take you down. Okay.
Exactly. So I hope y'all listening tonight, ladies, because like ASHERA'S really dropping gems. Like she's saying a lot in what she's saying. She's just saying it so simple. I hope it's not going over your heads. Okay. But yes, like we all have kids. You don't have to. That's one thing and it's a few things that I got to say, but one thing that I also realize about women, men could be many different things. Men understand that they play many different roles in life. A man could be, he could be a husband, he could be a father, he could have his own hobby, he could play golf, he could have a job. He can do all of these things, and he doesn't go around like, oh, I'm a dad. He doesn't wear his kids on his shoulders, right? So why do women feel that they have to do that? What are you trying to overcompensate for? Because when you really taking care of your kids every day, that's something that just doesn't even need to be discussed. But that's not a man's business. Just like ASHERA saying, if he knows all of this about you, and going back to if he feels like we're talking about builder chicks, I think we talked about that earlier, but you don't want to be a builder chick. And especially, which is why I wanted to connect my audience with your audience, because I know I got a lot of pretty bosses in my audience. I know I have a lot of successful businesswomen. I know it's a lot of single businesswomen also that follows me. All right. But I want them to understand that you don't want to be that woman that's going to help a guy get to where to build with him. A lot of men, see, a man could do this, just like what ASHERA said. Basically, it's crazy because what ASHERA's saying, and she said this before, is what men already do naturally. You know why? Because they're able to separate logic and emotions. They're able to use everything to get to their end goal. Women have that issue. Emotions get involved. You get emotional. Now everything's out the window. A man might be dealing with you because, first of all, okay, well, oh, she's a boss. Okay, so that means she could get money. Oh, that means if I got with her, we could be living in a 6-7 bedroom house. And if it's no marriage or none of that type of stuff anyway, he can leave at any time. And he got free sex out the deal the whole time, since y'all are basically roommates, like what I've heard ASHERA say as well on her channel. So ladies, it's about being, you have to be mindful, and I know a lot of times people say, well, no, it's not true. All men are not like this, or all women are not like that. That's so true. And that's so cute, especially in a fairy tale world. That's the cutest thing. But the fact of the matter is, the majority of what we're dealing with, that is how people are. So you have to be strategic in anything that you do. Even any person that you see in business, any person that you see that has something that you that you would like to have or would like to do, best believe they use strategy. Whoever got anything out of life just based off of luck alone. You have to use everything. And if you're talking about being a spiritual woman or a boss, that means you have even more tools. That means now, especially if you're a boss, now you can really play with this, because guess what? You really don't even need him for certain things. You're not truly dependent. So now you can play this game even, so it's like, ladies, don't be taken advantage of mentally. All right. Use your mind, use your spirituality for discernment. Your spirituality should help. Spirituality is not about, oh, it's just love and light. Well, he did me this way, or this person did me this way, but I'm just gonna, send them love and light. That's fine. You can send them love and light spiritually, but you also have to be mindful. Your spirituality should help you tap into your discernment. You should already know what type of guy you're dealing with before he even get to yapping. If you're that spiritual, that's what you use spirituality for. You don't use spirituality as a backbone to say, oh, well, I'm spiritual, I have to give him another chance, or, well, I shouldn't judge him based on what he got because I'm spiritual. You use that as your discernment, and you use your mind and other things to get what you're trying to get. Okay, so again, holistic. That's what this is all about. And that's why I love this queen. Even when you look at her, you will see her walking down the street. You wouldn't know if she's spiritual. You wouldn't know what she was. You would just know this is another beautiful queen. And you know what I'm saying? You can tell that she has standards about herself. You don't have to wear anything about yourself on your sleeve. You don't have to wear your spirituality on your sleeve. You don't have to wear your natural hair on your sleeve because you have self-love for yourself. You don't have to wear your children on your sleeve. So I just wanted to go ahead and add that in there.
You know what I almost did today for this video? But then I thought it might, because I have a lot of ladies that are hung up on the natural hair and wearing a wig thing. I almost bought this T-shirt that said 100% natural on it, wig on and a bunch of makeup on with it, because that's how funny it is. Okay, because
hey, sure. I always say, look, I'm a natural. I'm already natural. Like, under what do you mean? Like, go ahead, sis.
Yeah, because what I'm saying is you don't have to be 100% natural to get and be real.
Exactly. That's the key. That's what I'm saying. That's what, thank you. What is the distinct? That's the distinction. Being natural is not equivalent to being real. Those are two different things. I'm sorry. Go in, please.
Who are you being real for? That's my question.
Key.
Who are you being real for? Are you being real for someone who you think is judging you? Are you being real for a conscious movement? Are you being real for yourself? Are you being real for your kids? Are you being real for your partner? Who are you being 100% real to and for? Who are you trying to impress? Who are you trying to convince is my question. Who are you trying to convince that you love yourself? You are the only person that you have to convince that of, that you love yourself. So if you love yourself as a natural woman, that is beautiful. You can also love yourself as a woman that wears makeup and wigs and keeps her hair natural under the wig. Snatch it off when you get home. Snatch off your makeup and be who you are, just like every other woman who wears makeup and wigs. So you don't have to prove yourself to anyone. Your self-love is within. You don't need to do anything because somebody says, "Oh, y'all wear weaves and hair hats and da 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 da." And okay, so we invented them. I'm not, the first wig ever found was where? Africa, Egypt. Okay, so, and, pull them back into the consciousness. Use the consciousness against them and prove your point, because I can do it all day long. Why you wear all that makeup on your face? Why? Okay, what's your name? Imhotep. Okay, why did your ancestors and your spiritual guides from Egypt do the same thing?
Exactly. But they love to talk about ancient Egypt though.
Okay, Imhotep, whatever. Amun Ra. Why don't you show me an Egyptian queen on the wall that looks like what you're trying to make me or expect out of me? Why don't you show me one on the wall married to a pharaoh? Why don't you show me that?
And it's so funny because I want to talk about this. Like,
wait.
For some,
oh yeah, the peasants. Yeah, they did. Yeah, the peasants. So you walk around looking like peasants. And I'm not trying to be rude, and I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings. But if you're into Black consciousness, if you're into any type of spirituality, if you are into, ancient Egyptian, netters and all that kind of stuff, but you forgot about that part on purpose, that's because they don't want you looking good, because other men will notice you and treat you better and give you what you actually deserve.
And that's key. I want to talk about this, y'all, because I've been wanting to talk about this for a minute. I see y'all going in on the channels, but like, let's talk about this makeup and natural hair thing real quick. I just been waiting for the moment, but I feel like this is a good time to slide that in there. So any of y'all who have been following, even my first video I think I've ever done on YouTube years ago was when like I did the big chop and went natural. And it's so funny because when I did that at that time in my life, I came out of like a relationship from, like my early 18, 19, 20s. And I just wanted to start over. I didn't even want no guys to holler at me. So that was my idea of cutting my hair off and doing all that. To make a long story short, I say that to say this. I'm natural. I love my natural hair. Okay. And I'm natural every day under the wigs, the weaves, and the makeup. You were born natural. Like, what you mean? That doesn't even make sense to say.
Exactly.
But
I use chemicals on my hair.
Exactly. So I'm like, I don't have anything to prove. This goes back to what Ashera was just talking about. When you really know yourself, that's when life becomes fun. Now you can create yourself to be who you need to be. You see, when you go to work, you don't say, well, I work at Walmart. Why do they make, or I work at McDonald's, or wherever you wear with the uniform. Why do I have to wear this, or why do I have to dress this way to work? Because that's what's for your job. So as with everything in life, you use things as a tool. Even your looks can become, everything becomes something that you can play with when you know yourself, because you have nothing to prove. A lot of people who I see that it's like, it's a thing like, oh no, you should, because that's how I felt for a moment. I remember even when I was married in my last relationship, my ex-husband, I know that he really does like natural. I believe it's genuine. But when I started to do my hair, started getting back to being me, doing my hair, my makeup and all that type of stuff, he had issues with it. And like she's saying, it's because he know, okay, now I know all more heads are going to be turning than usually. You see, and that's the whole key. A lot of times a man will try to they'll tell you everything. Oh, I can't stand females that wear weave. I can't stand females that do this. But I bet you when you've been with him, and probably the same guy who's telling you that he hate women like that, when that same woman comes walking down the street, his head is turning while you natural. Yep. So
yep, you're right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's like, I love my natural hair. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's saying anything about that, but don't choose how you want to look based on trying to prove yourself to a person or to any group of people. You should only be concerned about what you think about yourself. So even if you are being natural and that's how you want to look, that is fine. Because when I wanted to be natural, and I was natural and only natural for 5 years straight, that's all you seen, no weave, no nothing, no flat iron, that's because I wanted to look that way. That wasn't because I felt like the conscious community is like, oh well, you're this way if you don't wear your hair like that. No. So now how I decide to choose to look is how I'm gonna look. Anyway, in life, in business, and we're talking about as a woman, but this applies to anything in life, even in business, you always want to reinvent yourself anyway. So a lot of times when you see women wearing different hair and makeup, that's because you're reinventing yourself. Everybody get anything the same. People get used to it. So come on, y'all. We're not gonna, if you have to define yourself, just like NDIRE said, I'm not my hair. That means whether it's natural, whether it's weave, whether it's wigs, whatever it is, all of that is irrelevant compared to who you truly are. But it takes for you to know yourself to really understand that.
Y'all remember that movie Muhammad Ali with Will Smith and Jada Pinkett? And he wanted to marry her, and he married her, and then she kept coming to the fights with makeup and hair done, and he was like, but then he divorced her, married a natural woman, then left her for what? So just keep that in mind. When they first become conscious, yes, or when they real passionate about this, yes, they might say this and that. But as a man, men are naturally physical beings. Okay? They're always going to be led physically. And if they find certain things attractive, they're going to be led by that a lot. Not anything else, but they're going to be led by that most likely. if given the opportunity. Okay, so y'all have to also keep that in mind. Um, that was just a good example of, you know, when a man says, "Oh, I like my women natural." Yeah, for now, for today. But what happens when you see someone who's not natural and now you're all of a sudden interested? So that's why
Exactly.
I feel like if you're with a man, he should allow you, not even allow, but you should not allow a man to dictate what you can put on your body and what you can't. Because he's not sitting up there asking you permission to put anything on his body or doing it whatever he needs to do to his hair. He's not asking you for none of that. And if you paying any type of bills and you are letting him tell you how to look, then who's the fool?
And that's the thing that see that's that's another thing. Like certain type of men, that's why it's so funny. You need to coin the term dusties. Sis, put that on a t-shirt. Okay, I'm dead serious. But certain type of men aren't even gonna say that. They're not even gonna come at you like that. Like men who do have things going for themselves on different levels, they love when you take care of yourself. See, it's about effort, you know. When you wake up, like one time I did a video in the group and I was doing, you know, my makeup in the group, like a get ready with me, and somebody was like, well, I don't have time to do that because I have to already wake up at this time. I'm like, exactly. So imagine the leg up you have. Like even think about it when we're talking about business. If you want to be successful in business, you gotta. There are sometimes, not all the time, but there's moments in your life where you're gonna have to be up when everybody else sleep. You have to do certain things. So even if you're talking about leveling yourself up or wanting to attract a higher caliber of men to yourself, you got to put extra initiative in. And when you do that, think about how many people you just made yourself stand out from who had the same mentality that you have. I don't have 2 hours to wake up early to get ready. It changes your whole day. It's worth it when you go out looking like $1,000,000. Okay. All the opportunities, the different type of people that come to you. All right. It's so funny. I'm gonna say this and then I'll get back to I'm gonna let y'all ask some more questions for Ashera, so y'all can go ahead and start asking that. But I want to say this because I love everything Ashera talking about. Y'all, I co-sign her channel 100%. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So I agree with everything she's talking about because I've been on both sides. Growing up, I always, you know, I always carried myself a certain way. I was it, but that's because I was spoiled and I was raised that way. I ended up getting into a relationship when I was really young. I let the love rock my world, you know, the 18, 19-year-old love rock my world. Ended up falling off with myself. I didn't take care of myself how I used to. And it's so funny because that was the first time in my life I realized, like, people really, like, I was used to growing up getting a certain type of reaction. Then when I let myself go, it's like you become invisible or people perceive you to be a certain type of way. This is life. People want to say looks doesn't matter, we're spiritual, we should be open-hearted. But if I dress like a bum and go down the street, are you gonna, most people won't even take $1 and give to somebody who needs money on the street. But you're telling me that looks don't matter, but you as a spiritual person don't even do that to every homeless person that you see. So it was funny because when I started to come back, when I came into spirituality, which is so funny why people try to distinguish the two. Oh, well, either you're going to be material or you're going to be spiritual. It wasn't until I really got so-called spiritual that I began this process of leveling up that I didn't even realize was occurring. I had lost myself. I had went so far off with myself that I lost myself so far that I didn't even know how to get the old me back. As I started to do my spiritual work, I leveled up. I naturally, that it starts to happen as your mind changes, as you start to perceive yourself differently, as the inside changes, the outside also changes. I mean, y'all could probably go back and look at some of my old videos. You see? So everything it starts internally.
that's true. And women forgot how we got knowledge in the first place on this earth. Women forgot their power. And I'm gonna tell you because a lot of women don't know this or they forgot. And a lot of men will try to brainwash you. The only reason we have knowledge, alchemy, magic, and science is because the descended beings that came down traded knowledge for wives,
Hmm.
women. They traded, okay, if you marry me, I'll tell you a little something, something. You know, then they started teaching the children. The women were the original teachers. They traded what they had, their hand in marriage, for the knowledge. Y'all would still be walking around looking crazy out here if it was not for us. So don't you ever try to tell us what we need to be, because you know what? Everything you see, all the technology you see, all the magic you supposed to be doing, and meditation, and we got that for y'all. So you welcome.
And it's funny. Let me say something. Look, I see Miss Indigo Blue. Shouts out to Miss Indigo Blue. Now, she says something is facts. I got to touch on this. She says, because the Bible took our power raising males up. So that, I don't even want to stay on that for long, because I don't even feel like having a biblical discussion, but that's absolute facts. Even when you look at the Bible, it tells you that your menstrual is a curse. It tells you, Eve induced Adam, and that's why all this suffering. That's first and foremost. You got to take that out your head. Okay. What
program?
Exactly. It's a program. And what Ashera's saying is what men know. I say this all the time, and I try to tell other women this, but I don't think that they quite understand what I'm saying. But as a woman, naturally you are powerful. First and foremost. Wait, what were you showing? What's that? Say something so it goes to
apple.
You. Oh, okay.
Even in the Bible, if Eve hadn't bit the apple, we wouldn't be right here. You wouldn't have technology. You wouldn't know anything. You'd be walking around naked, letting somebody.
Exactly. And then, even when we're talking about value, Ashera's like, all you have to do is show up. Like, what do you mean? First and foremost, let's think about this, because see, a lot of people have programmed you, and men have really reversed the roles in your head, because a lot of y'all are thinking that they're the ones with the value. A lot of women are thinking that you're the ones fighting for men, but it should be reversed. So it's like, think about it like this. When you're a woman, you have to really get your mind in the regard to know that you're the one with the natural born power. Everything that a man does, what does he do it for? When we talk about men getting money, right? Because I don't know a man who's not wanting money, or at least a talker. Everybody got that fantasy. Everybody thinks they're going to be the biggest. So why do they do it? The main reason men do this is so that they can get the type of women they want. You even hear it in the rap songs. That's all they talk about. They want it so they can get this and this and that. So we hear them saying this, and you still telling me that you're not going to value yourself as that type of woman. You're going to help somebody to get where he's trying to get, so that now he can go get what he really wanted in the first place. And that's all this Queen Ashera has been trying to share on her channel. Be wise.
Yeah, because here's my thing. If you're not wise and strategic and making sure you benefit from the relationship first and foremost, they're going to take that role instead. They're going to be strategic and make sure they benefit from you. So you have to beat them to it. And I know y'all are going to say, well, how come you can't benefit from each other? And I'm going to tell you why. Because as soon as you hit about 40, 45, stop looking cute, all about your kids. And he's about 40, 45, up in his career or his job, got his sports car because you're paying half the bills, riding around looking nice in his designer clothes because you pay half the bills, and he can spend his money on what he wants. And the little 20-year-old comes up next to his car. Ooh, this your car? Yeah, it's my car. Now you out and she's in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I call Bob the Builder chicks, who prepare their husband or their boyfriend for their next woman. They say second wife, better life.
Exactly.
Okay, don't do it. Don't you ever pay a bill if you living in a house with a grown man and sleeping with him. If you paying bills, you need to figure out how you can make it 70, 30, 80, 20 until it's 0 to 100. You need to let him help you more, because he will never be able to take full credit for building his household. He will never be able to look like a man in your eyes, because every time he tries to say my house, what are you going to do? I paid for half of this. You know, that's my name on that car. He can't feel like a man with you, but he can feel like a man with 20-year-old Sharkeisha over here bending over to his car. He could feel like a man with her. So guess what? Guess who he's going to want to start spending time with? You know, it might not be her age. It's just that he can feel like a man with her. He don't have to share his credit. He didn't have to share his accomplishments with her. She thinks he did it all by himself. But guess what? He did most of it. Okay?
Exactly. And I'm like, that's the key. So that's something I had to learn in life. It's wisdom that I had to get from my own experience. But one thing that I don't want y'all to overlook about what Ashera is saying is, first of all, this is not about bashing men. Okay, none of us are. She's married with both of her children, like her life reflects. So first of all, this is not about bashing men. If she hated men or any of us hated men, she wouldn't even be married for the amount of time that she's been married. Okay. But I want to talk about this because one thing is, it's important to understand that you have to be you have to allow a man to feel like a man. And I know it's a lot of pretty bosses on my channel. Shouts out to all the pretty bosses, shouts out to all the independent women. But if we're being real, anybody in here who's an independent woman, independent boss, how many times have you ran men away or you've dealt with certain issues in your relationship because you weren't allowing that man to be a man? This is something that's just naturally ingrained in most men. They have to feel like that. It's a book that I read a long time ago. I read this, matter of fact, before my first marriage. It's called Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. It talks about the fact that men have testosterone and women have oxytocin. Those are the hormones that fuels us. Men, since most of them, you have some women that have naturally more testosterone too, but since most men have more testosterone, they're driven by competition. They're driven by succeeding. That's what makes them feel good. That's what makes the testosterone get going in their body. Women are driven usually by oxytocin. So that's things that has to do with feeling good, you know, getting your nails done, spending time with the girls. A lot of times women are becoming more masculine because you're not taking time to be a lady. You're not taking time to be a woman. Even just being a mother isn't necessarily just taking time to be a woman. You still have to take time for yourself, even outside of motherhood. So when we're talking, what Ashera is saying about letting him be a man, ladies, this is key. I've seen it even in some of my own relationships that failed early on when I was a young boss. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm independent, you know, this and that, I can do this, or I helped you do that, or it was because that's not what you want. That's why when I hear Ashera speak and so many people be coming for her in them comments, I'm like, no, she's trying to save you. What is the Drake album called? Thank Me Later. If you listen to her, y'all gonna come back to Ashera's channel years later and be like, oh my God, why didn't I listen then? Because I was too busy being too judgmental, being too stuck in my preconceived notions. Everything she's saying is facts. You got to let a man feel like he's a man. That's in any relationship, even if you're a boss, where you have to learn how to tone it down. A lot of times, even if we're talking about doing this outside of relationships, because I've done videos before where I tell you, when you're doing things, when you're working towards your goals, don't tell anybody what you're doing. Just do it and let it be. When you tell people your goals, you can have people interfere, people hating, this and that type of stuff. So the same way you can close your mouth in regards to accomplishing your goals, you can do that in regards to a man. It's possible. I have enough to, I possibly, you know what I'm saying, have enough to support myself in a whole nother household. But guess what? When I'm dealing with relationships and dating, a man don't know that. Even if let's say, because one time one female in the group asked, she was like, well, people know who I am. A lot of men in my city already knows that I'm successful. You still don't, they don't know that unless you tell them that. You can still be discreet. You can still tell them what you want them to perceive, or lead them however you want, so that they're not thinking that you have and they don't have nothing that they can give. So I feel like that is key. You know, even my own mother, you know, she's to her point, you know, she can probably take care of herself if she needed to. But my whole life growing up, I've seen it. When a woman lets a man be a man, they're still married to this day. My mom never had to pay a bill in her life if she really didn't want to. She can afford to do things. She even decided to teach later in age and retired. But guess what? She was able to be a woman and she let him be a man. And that's what you want. You want to have somebody that you have stability with and that you can raise your kids with. So everybody be coming for Ashera and saying certain things, but I'm like, y'all missing what she's saying. She's trying to help. I've dealt with it from both sides. This is serious. We can talk about, oh, it's gold digging and it's funny and it's dusties and all this type of stuff, but this is serious information. Yeah. So I didn't mean to get so serious, but I just had to say that because, first of all, before you jump to say anything or judge her message, look at her lifestyle. Okay? If somebody has something that you would like to have, then maybe you should sit down and take a chance to think and listen to what they're saying. And at least if you don't agree with everything, take the things that you can use in your life.
Right.
So I'm sorry, Queen. I just had to jump in and say that. You can go ahead and come back in.
Well, I just wanted to say, here's the thing. Women are always giving out too much information that backfires on them later. Women are too forthcoming when it comes to talking and giving out too much information. Like you said, you don't have to tell someone how much money you make, what you do. All they need to know is what you need in the relationship, which is, I need you to be a provider and a protector. It doesn't matter how much I'm making, okay? If you can't do that, then I can't respect you as a man, because everything that I need you for, I can do by myself. So I'm going to need you to take care of some things for me in order for me to actually want and need you in my life.
Exactly.
You're going to have to benefit me in order for me to respect you as a man and not a child.
Exactly.
Because so many women talk to their men like children because they're paying half these bills. Because without you, they can't do anything. So you pull rank automatically, especially if you're a mother, because you're in charge of the children. You're in charge of, you got to go to your job, and then you got to come home and pay half these bills. And all the man has to do is go to work, come home, sit on the couch. So then you become his mother as well, because what do you have to do? You're going to cook, you're going to clean, you're going to wash his clothes. I hope you don't. You got to do this for kids. You got to do this. So you are the house, you are the boss of the whole household. That is your household after you pay any type of bill. That is your household, and you will start talking to your man as his mother. And who wants to sleep with his mama?
Exactly.
You will start bossing him. Well, you better not buy nothing without telling me. Well, you better not do this. No, you can't go buy that car that you want. No, you can't do that because we got to do A, B, C, and D. You become his mom. A grown man should be paying all the bills in the house, and he should be able to go buy whatever car he wants when he want to do it. He shouldn't have to ask this woman for permission to buy a car if he's winning. Okay, he should be asking, "What car do you want, baby?"
Exactly.
Or everything.
See. Hold on, y'all. I think let me see. I think okay.
I know what it is already. Okay? Because the greatest treasure in the world, people don't even know what it is, but a man will chase it on a daily basis. He will get up and go to work for it. He will dress up for it. He will go buy a car he can't afford for it. And you're sitting here not even understanding that.
Exactly. And it was a question, I had it saved. I wish it was a question that popped up. I'm trying to remember. I don't know what I just did to lose it. But exactly, y'all. Like, so okay, here, I'm about to find it right now. Y'all give me 1 second. Oh, okay, this is what it was. I remember. I can't find it, but okay, let me talk about this, and I'm going to let Ashera take over. So somebody said something about men complaining about paying for dates. So I saw that. That's like an alert. So first of all, like if you dealing with a man complaining for a date, run. Before I even was grown, when I was dating as a teenager in high school, y'all, I'm gonna let y'all know, ladies, the type like how I am. When I was dating in high school, they were paying for dates then. I didn't care whether they had a job or not, whether you got allowance, even before I was grown, anybody who took me on a date had to pay for a date, had to pay for dinner and get what I want them to get. And if I was the only one with the car since I was 16 and I had to pick them up, they had to pay for gas. Like, a man should not be paying for you to go on a date. Yeah, I mean, a man should not be complaining about paying for you to go on a date. If you're dealing with a man that's talking about 50-50 or anything like that, please run, because he's not serious about you. Like, if a man's trying to, because I've been seeing a lot of women talk about this. I'm like, I literally, I'm so far removed for that. I cannot fathom how you would even date a guy who expects for you to pay for a date. Like, first of all, they're trying to date you, okay? Because that goes back to what we're talking about. Men are trying to impress you. It should not be the other way around. And that's why a lot of these men are running away from you, and you can't figure out why you're trying to keep them in, because you're doing too much. So please, I just wanted to bring about that up about paying for dates and going half in Dutch and all this talk.
You know, you know what I say? If a woman is asked on a date, first of all, like a coffee date, or to pay half of her date, or beforehand, you're gonna pay half, right? Because I'll say make the date, tell him you'll be there, and don't ever show up, and block his number, just to teach him. Let him waste his gas money, his little cologne, whatever, his time. Waste his time, because that's what he just did to you.
And then one thing, this is a side note, but somebody asked I think somebody's asking what's your beauty channel, because I know you have multiple channels as well. So this is quick, we could get on, but I did want you to say, because somebody asked about that, let them know about your other channels. This queen, she also has a spiritual channel that talks about all the things. That's why I'm like, y'all, if y'all like anything that you've seen on Pretty Boss TV, also check out ASHERA'S. She's dope. I wouldn't bring her on here if she wasn't. And then she also has a beauty channel. So let them know what the channels are real quick.
Okay, so my relationship / ladies channel is Shira71. My spiritual channel is ASHERA Star Goddess. And my beauty channel is ASHERA Star.
Okay.
So I split them up because I have different people coming for different reasons. So I can't put it all together like you did successfully, because I have too many trolls.
Actually, sis, it's funny. Like, I haven't done that successfully. Like, I actually have other channels as well, just because of that. Because you don't want to have a spirituality channel, then a nail video pops up. It doesn't make sense. You see? So I thought that, but I wanted to say that as well, because she does have other channels. If y'all are interested in leveling up, look why she has a beauty channel. If y'all want to understand where the queen is coming from mentally and spiritually, spirituality channel, she got spells, all kind of stuff. So definitely check her out in that regard as well. If you're in here and you just wanted to talk about that, she has channels for that. Okay, so I want to give another chance, y'all, real quick, to any questions y'all have, any last minute questions that y'all have. Let me know too. I know that when we spoke before, you said you wanted to do like half on my channel, because we went over an hour now. So I don't know.
I have to go to my channel. I'm good.
Okay, cool, perfect. All right, so anyways, y'all, let me see what kind of questions do y'all have for the queen in the chat now that she's here. All right, anything at all, especially in regards to relationships and dating, when we're talking about leveling up, marriage, because these are questions I get all the time. So I wanted to bring her so that y'all can have the chance to ask for yourself. So if there's any questions, I'll let y'all go ahead and ask. And I guess
I want to ask. There is a question I saw that I wanted to answer. I'm so sorry. Someone says, if he asks you to tip and he pays for the bill.
Okay. Okay, look, I'm gonna tell you what I did last time somebody tried me like that. Like, first of all, that was the last date, and secondly, I had all of it in there. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have enough change. No, you pay for nothing.
Exactly.
Okay. So yes, I'm like, oh, let me see. Somebody says, all right, let me see. But y'all, again, these questions, I want y'all to talk about questions that are related to what ASHERA talks about on her relationship channel. Y'all know I can talk about spirituality videos all day. Okay, it says, wait, let me see. Somebody says, it says, what about okay, I already probably know where you're gonna go with this. You can go wherever you want. But somebody says, what about these young men under 30? They have no respect for women anymore. So let's talk about men under 30. Go ahead, sis.
Don't date them.
Exactly.
Stop dating them. Date somebody that has it together. Okay. Go find
Exactly.
you, go find you an older man, an older distinguished man who's going to pay for everything and give you some spending money. Okay. Why? Because first of all, he will respect you more. He can benefit you more. And all a 30-year-old is all a 30-year-old man is a 20-year-old in a 30-year-old body. So I don't even waste my time with that.
Exactly. And I want to talk about that because I know a lot of people, this is something else I've seen you talk about on your channel, something that people don't like to talk about. I was looking for one of my books. But one thing that you talk about is dating men who are older, especially if we're talking about young women. And ladies, let's talk about this from different perspectives, because what do we always hear growing up? Oh, women are more mature than men, all this type of stuff. So think about it from that perspective. Then two, even in this book, this is what I was looking for. This is one of the latest books we was reading as a group in the Patreon group. For anybody who's interested, we're still going to do a Google Hangouts for all my Patreon ladies in here for the group. Okay, we're going to finish this book up as a group. But even in this book, I think he speaks about men not really being financially successful and stable until about they reach their 40s or 50s, because that's when they're able to have more control. That's even when the sexual transmutation comes into play. So as a woman, you got to ask yourself, what are you trying to get out of it? A lot of people, even Ashera mentioned it earlier, this is checkers, not chess. You shouldn't be making decisions based upon tomorrow or instant gratification. As a woman, you have to make the decisions for the long run. So if you are already leveled up and you're in a certain place, I'm sorry, but the majority of men under 30 are just not going to cut it for you. Not in that type of way. A lot of men under 30 aren't even don't even have control over their gonads or their root chakra, as we like to call it, popping all over the place. So you got to deal with, you know, just stuff out of infidelity issues, just out of being a young man, still living life and not truly having any responsibilities or any maturity. So when we're talking about dating men under 30, I wouldn't even be checking for men under 30, y'all. And y'all already know that's my age bracket, but that's even people who I've dated in the past. Like when I was even coming up in my early 20s, a lot of the men who I dated, I've had boyfriends my age as well, but a lot of the men who I've dated, they were older because they were the only ones who could actually add something to me. So that's not a bad thing at all. It's actually a great thing. So I wanted to say that, like, we got to start choosing men differently. These guys under 30, those are babies, especially when you're talking about men under 30. That's a baby. It's rare that you're going to find a guy under 30 who has everything together. That's not the norm. Okay. So just wanted to throw that in there.
That's true. And in that book that you're reading, I think it was that book, Think and Grow Rich, he also talks about how men cannot get to the next level of success or be very motivated unless there is a woman motivating him to do
Exactly. That's in this chapter about sexual transmutation.
Yeah, exactly. Men become millionaires because they are dating or they want a high standard woman, not because they want Pick Misha, not because they want, Sharkeisha, because they can have that and be broken, dusty, and work at McDonald's all day long. But they want this chick over here who's high level, and he can't even get her to speak to him. He has to go get what it takes, and that means he has to go make himself a better person so that he is in her league. So we as women create these successful men, whether we understand it or not. But yet we're still seeking validation when we are the validation.
Exactly. Please, I hope that y'all wrote that down. Okay, like another question that just came through from Sweat the Details. She says, every time I find a question, I end up losing it. Okay, so Sweat the Details says, what if he's a few years older and knows that he wants and straightforward wants kids in his stable and has degrees, and he wants you to do all the whole. Okay, so I guess that's crazy how she typed that, but I guess she's saying, what if he's not that much older than you, he's a few years older and he's ready to settle down? What would you say about dating a guy who is a few years older than you, but he seems to be ready for that life?
Okay, if I have a baby, am I able to stay home and raise that child? First of all, can you pay for everything and let me stay home and raise my child? Second of all, am I going to be able to keep up the lifestyle that I have now without children? Okay, if I don't work. Third, Are you going to invest in me and give me money to spend or access to the bank account so that I can actually do something if I choose to, like start a business, ABC? I need all those questions answered. I need to have something in my bank account before I lay down and have kids with this man. Okay, I need to have a little stash in case he decide he want to act crazy. I need to know that I don't have to rush back to work and throw my kid in a daycare 2 weeks, 3 weeks after I give birth. I need to know all that first, and I need to see some paperwork, money, some salary, some bank statements because I'm not getting ready to fall for the okey doke. And I need a ring and a marriage license. I need all of that because a lot of times they're just saying that stuff to get you to do certain things for them. They don't mean none of it. If you can do all that first, then you get that.
Did y'all get that? Because that's really all that, like, that's it. If he can already do that, then you get that. And I want to speak about that because let's talk about when we're talking about marrying. A lot of mistakes that a lot of women make, is that we'll choose a man based off of his potential. Like, oh, well, he has a lot of potential, or he said he's doing this, or things can pop off. So we'll give a guy the benefit of the doubt because of the potential of what he can do. And we'll really marry the fantasy based on the reality. And that's the big distinction. When you're getting married, you want to make sure that if this man didn't change and he stayed the same, you will still marry him in the future because he's already doing what he needs to do for you in the first place. Exactly. So that was key what she just said. I wanted to add that in there. Let me see.
Don't marry potential. Marry what he's supposed to be already.
Exactly. And it's like, as when you become a woman, because I remember even myself, like my mother always had this type of wisdom. My grandmother, like the women in my family are just like ASHERA. That's why it's just so funny to see it coming from an outside perspective. And me being the rebellious one that I've always been, I used to question these things and be like, no, this and that. But when you come into any type of wisdom, and especially when after you have a child and you realize like, that's really what a man is supposed to do. Because I'm gonna tell y'all this, ladies, and this is just straight up from the heart. All right, to any current bosses, any future wannabe independent pretty bosses, when you have a child, everything changes. A man can have a child. That's why we know a lot of men with multiple baby mamas, and you wouldn't even know that they got kids in some cases. But when you're a woman and you have a kid, whether it's in marriage, whether it's out of marriage, if something happens, most of the time, you know who ends up with the responsibilities of taking care of that child? The woman. So I don't care how much of a pretty boss you are now. If you're dealing with a man and y'all having sex and it's a potential for y'all to have kids, and even before it gets to that point, even if y'all are friends, because friends could become to the point where y'all having sex. If you're dealing with any man, this means you could potentially end up having sex with him one day and y'all could have kids. So if you're not thinking about it from any perspective, at least understand it from that perspective, that if you do get pregnant, everything in your life is going to change. You're not going to be able to be the same boss that you were before the pregnancy. And you need to have a man that if anything happens between y'all, you know still that your child is going to be taken care of. And also you, because if you're not going to be taken care of, who's going to be able to give their 100% to the child? So this is just real life, if you think about it, common sense stuff. We've been trained so much. Oh, women are gold diggers. I don't know who came up with that term, but that term, even as a kid, had me like, oh, oh my gosh, I shouldn't think about how much money a man has, and all of that is foolishness. Okay, anything. Think even, what do they say? Nothing good comes free, or nothing good comes easy. So when you think about all these things, think about yourself. If nothing good comes free and nothing good comes easy, then why are you giving up yourself for free and so easily? Let's just start to use our minds. It's a lot of things that people say that sounds good, but when you really look at how life plays out, what advice is really going to help you to be successful in the long run? Not only you, but your family, your kids. So this is a deeper overall discussion that we're having that I hope y'all are not missing out on. And like I said, that's one of the reasons I wanted to reach out to the queen, because I'm like, I think people be missing what she's saying.
Yes, I want to talk about pick-me's. Can we talk about pick-me's?
Please.
Okay. If y'all don't know what a pick-me is, it's that one kid that be in the classroom going like this, pick me, pick me. teacher's pet, agree with everything she says. You know, those women in the comments on Facebook or YouTube agreeing with the Dusties. Oh, yeah, that's right. A woman shouldn't want a man for his money. A woman, you know, I'm a good woman. I cook, clean, I have 2 jobs. You know, that's a pick me. Pick me out the comments. I know you clicking on my profile. You see I'm natural and nobody else want me. You know, so please come and pick me. I will be the best woman you ever had. And they don't ever get no comment back. They still didn't get picked. You know, the other dude still arguing with the chick that talking about she wants some money. He done responded to her 8, 7, 11 million times. Now he's all up in your inbox. Why you so mad? You know, he's not in Pick Misha's inbox. Up in the gold digger's inbox. You know why? Because he can't have her. She ain't easy. He can have Pick Misha and them all day, every day after he didn't had her. He can go back and look through every comment and pick out every pick me and go down the list Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all day long. He got a pick me for every day of the week. But who is he going to take out on a date? Who is he going to try to impress? Because he don't have to impress Pick Misha. You know, Pick Misha will go to McDonald's. Pick Misha will pay his bills when he come up short. Pick Misha will give him money to take you on a date. Okay, so y'all need to come out them damn comments and stop ruining it for yourself, your future generations, and other women. I'm telling y'all, please stop commenting when a woman has high standards just because you don't. We don't care. We don't want to hear it. They don't want you anyway. Please stop. If you got to get in the comments and beg for attention, all you got to do is slap on some makeup, lashes, and a wig, and they're going to be in your inbox anyway. You don't have to do all of that. Okay. And they might pay for something for you, take you out to eat like a real date.
Exactly.
Some of them was making me mad. Like I was seeing some the other day on my videos and all through Facebook. Y'all are messing up the game for women. Y'all are devaluing women. Y'all are having these dusties sitting out here thinking it's okay to take you to McDonald's. If you can't say nothing beneficial, don't say nothing at all. Okay? You ruining it for your kids and my kids. Now these dusties are sitting out here thinking, well, I don't need to pay because Pick Me shouldn't get free. They coming up to me looking crazy because they think all women are like her. No, y'all need to stop that. And every time I pick Misha, I will go in and go hard on the. Okay, Pick Misha. Did he pick you yet? Did he inbox you? Because he's sure in my inbox. Okay, please don't do that. You look bad. You look desperate, and nobody respects it, and they're all laughing at you. Okay, Pick Misha. Thank you. Sorry, I have to go in.
Okay.
They're taking our value down.
Exactly. And that's true. Like, okay, so I want to speak on what Ashera just said, and then I also have another question that came through. There, ladies, this is something I also wanted to talk about as well. It's us who, like, men do everything to a lot of what men do, especially most of them, I know it's probably like 1% that's different, that's the outlier. But most men, everything they do it to impress women. Okay, you're the one who sets the standards of what they do. So when you lower yourself, oh, well, you don't need to do. Look, it's something that I was about to say that I'm not even going to get into. But now we're starting to see men even be into different other things because women are giving themselves so freely just from understanding, just from a lack of self-worth and a lack of value within themselves. Okay. One question I wanted, something that Gabrielle Bloomfield says, so dating someone because you see their potential doesn't correlate with being the motivation for a man to want to do better?
No.
Exactly.
He won't already. Why would he want to do anything better if he already got the prize?
Exactly.
That's stupid. You know, that's like me saying, "Oh, I'm gonna give you all this money if you decide let me give you $500. Now, I need you to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, P. Okay, sure. I'm gonna take that $500, go spend it, and I don't even remember what you asked me to do. because I already got what I want. So no, you don't marry potential. You marry what is already beneficial. Okay, you get with what's already beneficial. You're not supposed to be building with a grown man. Okay, are you Bob the Builder? Are you a Bob the Builder chick? You can't build with a grown man. You know why? Because he's supposed to be doing that himself. He's supposed to be building that for you and your children, not the other way around. You know, because if you're that desperate, he's going to understand and sense it and use it against you.
Exactly. Exactly. So, somebody came in with a random question. So, Nisi Lotus says, "What's a good first date?" Because you would think that women understand, but give them an idea of what a leveled up woman's first date would look like.
First of all, he has to be dressed in real clothes, not no basketball shorts, not no t-shirt, not any type of sneaker. Period. No sneakers. Okay? And the woman should not have on sneakers either. Um a napkin restaurant. That means a cloth napkin restaurant if you're going to go out to eat. Um he should be spending at least over $100, you know, or on you. 200 to 100 and up, nothing below. Okay. You should first of all be able to pick the place that you want to go if he asks you, because he's trying to impress you. Remember this. He's trying to impress you. No walking in the parks holding hands. No movies. That's like down the line. Okay. He's trying to impress you. This is a first impression date. So he needs to come with it. Okay. This is a leveled up date. This is not chilling. This is not hanging out. This is not a casual thing. This could be the event that changes both of you guys' lives. This could be your future husband. What are you going to tell your kids? Where did dad take you on the first date? Oh, we did Netflix and chill. No, he took me to this really nice restaurant, and then we went to go go dancing, or he took me to this place and bought me this really beautiful crystal figurine because I was telling him on the phone how I collect A, B, C, and D. Impress your high quality woman. So any man that goes out on a date with you is automatically wanting to impress you anyway. If he doesn't want to impress you, he's going to offer you the least and the worst, and he's not going to be trying to impress you at all. In fact, you will be trying to impress him if he doesn't even value you.
Exactly. And that's key. It's like, ladies, don't be afraid. Like, again, it goes back to like just having value. Like, you have to think and see, when you value yourself. Another thing is like, this is kind of side random, but not really. Like, one time a woman was telling me, like, I want to be able to, I want a man to do this and this and that for me. When you literally can do that for yourself, and not even if you can do it for yourself, that's really irrelevant. But when you have those expectations for yourself, you're not going to feel no type of way about, you're going to expect that. You see what I'm saying? Again, it all goes back to like self-worth. So I want one thing for y'all to do. Think about when you get off this live stream tonight, the homework that I want is for y'all to really, before you go to sleep, think back to the last few experiences that you had with men and really analyze it. Okay. Really analyze it and pay attention to the type of men that you've been attracting. That's going to tell you a lot about yourself. That's what this all boils down to. Okay. A lot of times, even like we'll hear, for instance, like, and I want to talk about this too, because a lot of times they'll say, oh, well, they left this race of woman for this race of woman. But we have to really ask ourselves, is it really about that? Or is it about how that other type of woman conducts herself? Is that other type of woman, does she know how to let that man be a man? We have to really start asking ourselves questions. We have to start being more objective, because it's always easy to point and say, oh, all successful men only date this type of woman, or all successful men only date that type of woman. But if you really get introspective about it, is it that type of woman because of color or this or this or that? Or is it because of her and how she is and how she's strategic and uses wisdom in her relationship? Even in the book, it just hit me from the movie. I mean, from the book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. The relationship that they were talking about, the wife who I think they were married for years, you know, they 30 for just long, you know, a long time, what most people want. She spoke about how, going back to what Ashera said earlier, we choose our battles. You don't have to battle this man about everything if you disagree. Is that even important in a relationship? I mean, think about that. Do you want to be around somebody who's constantly antagonizing every word that you say? Like, you have to let a man do his own process. Like, let a man evolve. Let a man look back and be proud of himself, because that's ultimately what he wants to do.
Right. And yeah, that's so true. It's not because of their color or their race, because that's a whole new set of obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of change, and it's a lot of having to do other things that you would normally have to do. So they're not going to just readily do that without some thinking. You know, they feel more masculine maybe with that white woman versus being with you because you're
Exactly.
masculine for them. Maybe they're having a hard time finding a feminine black woman.
Exactly.
So maybe the only thing they have to choose from are women who are feminine of different races. And that's understandable because the same thing. We do the same thing. Masculinity to many women is financial stability. If a black woman can't find financial stability in a black man, where does she go?
Exactly.
Different race. Why? Because to us, we measure a man's masculinity on his ability to provide and protect. Well,
Mm-hmm.
the better you can provide and protect, the more masculine you seem to a lot of women. And the more feminine you are and demure you are, and let a man take the lead, at least in public, the more feminine you seem to men. So what we're doing is we are craving a man's masculinity, and a man is craving a woman's femininity. And we have turned into the exact opposites of each other. The men have become more feminine and the women have become more masculine. We've traded places. And now, deep down inside in our subconscious minds, we want to be what we're supposed to be. We want to be what we were born to be. We want to be feminine and they want to be masculine. But we're not allowing each other to be masculine or feminine with each other because we're not putting ourselves first and valuing ourselves as women. We determine how men treat us.
Mm-hmm.
To us to get that knowledge, to play the strategic game, to make them feel all masculine and powerful so that they can secure us and make us feel, safe. But when we can't do that, that's when everything goes wrong.
Exactly.
So,
And it's like, this is just absolute, you know, because a lot of times, a lot of people like to get caught in their feelings and say this and that, but you have to just go back to just being a human being. Sometimes you have to wipe away skin color. You got to wipe away all the extra stuff and just be real with yourself. Even ladies, like Ashera was saying, put yourself in a man's perspective. Like, we hear about, oh, all these men are dating these colored women and they want all these other types of women. But instead of judging or just saying, oh, well, it's because they're a different color, start to pay attention to, well, how are they? See, when you've seen some of these relationships close up, like I have as well, you see, like, it has nothing to do with the color. It has to do with how she's allowing this man to feel like a man, something maybe he never felt with his mother. And like Ashera was saying, this is a full circle moment. Nobody wants to feel like they're dating their mother. So if a man's dating you, and if he's a black man, he definitely doesn't want to feel like he's dating his mother, not because of her complexion. And we're not saying that's never the case, but that's not always the case, y'all. We got to start to think more deep than that. You see what I'm saying? And you have to be real with yourself. When you start to be real with yourself, then that's when you can start to have a different level of understanding, awareness, and then you're able to present yourself in the world to get what you deserve and what you truly in your heart desire.
And someone's talking about interracial, and I'm pushing interracial, and should Black women be interracially dating? You should be going where you are the most appreciated, period.
Exactly.
Whoever is giving you and benefiting you the most and who appreciates you the most, that's where you should be. You know, if it's not who you want it to be, if it's not the type of man you want it to be, then you have to ask yourself why. Why doesn't this type of man like me? Does his thinking need to change? Does he need to be deprogrammed? And do I have time for all of that?
Mm-hmm.
The time is ticking with a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Or do I need to be focused on securing my future generations and my children to come and my lifestyle? Do I need to be trying to deprogram him while I'm trying to deprogram myself and get rid of all this mental illness that, came from, slavery and color
Exactly.
complex and all this crap? Do I have time for that? The answer is no. I'm going where I'm most appreciated. I'm going to play chess and not checkers all day long, every day. I'm not going to sit here and waste any of my precious time that I can never get back trying to deprogram and change somebody like their mother. Once again, I am not their mom. I can't. So I'm just going to do what the men are doing and go where it is easier and convenient and where I am most appreciated at the end of the day. That's what we need to be doing, because we're putting too much emphasis on trying to change people and change them, change ourselves, change the world's thinking. Then when you wake up and look up, it's too late for you. It's over. You're still single at 45, and you done missed your window, and now you're just angry. So go where you're appreciated. You know what I'm saying? It's not about doing what is politically or culturally correct. It's about doing what is best for you as an individual and your future generation.
Exactly. And I see a lot of people sideways in the comments talking about, I think it's probably just one troll talking about swirling. But just, I know some of y'all get distracted by trolls. I'm not saying that any of y'all are, but I've seen the same comment keep popping up about interracial dating. First of all, before we even get into that, for those of you who are not familiar with your channel or her life, like, she's married to a Black man, has a successful marriage with children from that same Black man. So let's cut that. Okay. So troll, you're done on that note. And two, what she's saying is, in life, you should always go to where the love is. I mean, even if we're not talking about interracial relationships, you always go where you're appreciated. Only a person who doesn't love themselves would do the opposite. So if you're dating people and you're finding yourself dating people who don't respect you or don't love you or not getting what you want out of the thing, then you have to realize, well, you know what? How do I really feel about myself? This has nothing to do with any of that. All right. And as you see, like we're saying, Ashera has a Black husband. So we're not saying that this is not possible with Black men. We're saying, ladies, you have to start thinking more outside of the box. Don't limit yourself. If you happen to never come across these type of Black men, well, don't just put yourself in a box, because we're talking about longevity. We're talking about, especially if you're the type of woman that want to have kids and all this type of stuff that ladies love to talk about, being married and having kids and all this, you're going to want a man who can actually take care of that type of circumstance. So regardless of what he looks like, you still need to keep an open mind. A lot of females find themselves single, like she's saying, you don't want to be 45, 50, or 60 if you're the type of woman who wants to have a life like that, and turn around and it's too late then. So get it now while it's good, y'all. Use your discernment, use your wisdom, listen to other people. I'm so happy to bring her on this channel, because it's not like she's just talking, because y'all know one thing about Pretty Boss TV, even the things that I talk about on my channel, I never come to y'all and talk about something I heard. I talk from pure life experience. So this queen is coming from a place of wisdom and experience. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm seeing some comments, and they're saying, swirling or whatever. If you're a grown man and you have a woman, you're a Black couple, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you sending your Black woman out into the workplace to work for a Caucasian or white boss,
Mm.
12 hours a day for 8 hours a day, right up under him, next to him. But you got a problem with a woman dating, outside of her race. What does that say about you? You need him to bring money into your household through your woman.
Mm-hmm.
So unless you can keep your woman taken care of, you can't have any type of opinion on anybody dating outside their race unless you can take care of them.
Exactly.
You fully provide for your black woman and your children? Do you need a white man to give her a paycheck to help you out?
Mm.
If yes, then shut it up.
Exactly. And again, it's like I hope y'all listening, because when you listen to her, if you're hearing, she breaks it down common sense. It's just a lot of people don't take time to really think. That's what I'm starting to see. A lot of people make decisions based off of emotion, based off of how you feeling today. So you want this dude to make you feel this way, or you need this, to feel to fill a certain void. But everything in life, ladies, like I said again, even like what we see, like we could talk about Meghan Markle, or any other woman who's married, has a type of circumstance that deep down you would love to have a circumstance like that. Know that they didn't get there because they just happened to get there by luck. Everything that a person have in life, you have to know that that's your goal, and then you have to take the necessary steps to get there. So whether you're talking about business, whether you're talking about relationships and dating, whether you're talking about spirituality or anything else, when we're talking about strategy, a lot of people take the word strategy and it's like you have a negative connotation, which is your meaning to the word strategy. But that's a normal part of life. Okay. Anytime that you have something that you're trying to get, you have to strategize to how to get it. All right. So I just wanted to say that because I saw some stuff popping up in there about strategy and all this. But if you want it, you got to think about how you're going to get it. And then you have to take those steps to do it. Relationships, business, it doesn't matter. So I just wanted to say that. But
I'm gonna say this. A lot of guys feel like it's not fair. Why do I have to pay all the bills and you're, women's rights and all this kind of stuff, and you need to be contributing. It's hard to make it in the world. It's hard for the economy. Blah 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 blah. The system is rigged against me. Da, da, da. Every excuse. If all you're hearing are excuses, then you know that they have no potential. Because a person with potential doesn't make excuses.
exactly.
They talk about the solutions. They say, "Oh, well, you know what? By next year, I should be able to be doing A, B, C, and D, and you won't have to work anymore." And blah 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 blah. And oh yes, the economy's bad, but that doesn't stop what I'm doing, because I'm manifesting my vision every day, because I don't let obstacles get in my way. I don't see obstacles. All I see are solutions to problems. I don't see problems. I see solutions. So I know how to solve everything that is coming in my path. I know how to solve, the system being rigged against me. Guess what? I'm going to start my own business. Guess what? I'm going to do ABC. They have solutions. You need a solution-minded person that has proven themselves already. If all you're getting are excuses and sob stories and victim mentality, that's all you're going to continue to get. And you need to bounce. As soon as you hear your first excuse, you need to be out. You need to excuse yourself from that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So, no excuses, dude. I'm so sorry. That's just as soon as I hear an excuse, I hear a loser. I gotta go.
That's facts. Even if you still making, and I hope y'all listening, because I heard somebody say, change your thoughts, change your life in the chat. Read this book if y'all haven't. That's key. You do need to change your thoughts to change your life. Okay. But y'all gotta seriously, like, I hope that y'all are listening to everything that's being said. Okay, because these things are being said to help, to add food for thought. This is coming from experience. So Know your worth, ladies. And somebody says, so are you saying we shouldn't be independent? So back to you, maybe might not have been the whole stream, but nobody's saying not to be independent. Y'all know that's what Pretty Boss TV is about. You always make sure you secure your bag. But we're talking about still allowing a man to be a man. If you want a man, that's if you want a man. If you don't want to have a man, exit this conversation, exit left. But if you want to have a man, you have to, just separate the things. You can be a boss and you can also let a man lead. I have, even some of my latest investments have been done by somebody who I've been dating in a friendship. You see what I'm saying? So even if you're a boss, what type of boss don't want, if somebody else can do it, to let them do it? And if a man's coming in your life, that's what he should be trying to do anyway, because again, it goes back to trying to impress you. I guarantee, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna let Ashera get back to it. If he's not trying to impress you, I guarantee he's trying to impress somebody else. So you need to ask yourself that.
Right. Well, I feel like a lot of guys are upset at this new mind. Well, it's not even a new mindset. The mindset returning of the divine feminine and knowing her worth. Men are upset because the jig is up, ladies. Jig is up. Y'all had y'all time. I hope y'all enjoyed it. It's over now.
And that's
back to reality.
Exactly, like the time. And it's funny that she said that. I've been wanting to do a video on the rise of divine feminine energy for the longest, but like literally, y'all, the time is up. It's a new paradigm that we're living in. The times are shifting. That old paradigm of what we've been taught, even a lot of us that grew up in, the 80s, the 70s, the 90s, that whole mindset, that's out. It's a new wave, so women are waking up, and this is a great thing. Ladies, don't never feel ashamed, because when the woman is on her throne, I always say this, when you're on your throne as a woman, then that in itself corrects society. Because imagine what the world would look like if all women had these types of standards. Y'all talking about, oh, this person is a gold digger, this person's this. But imagine if instead of you pointing the finger out of whatever reason, imagine if you yourself tried to level up within yourself, have your own self-worth, so that you don't just accept any type of thing in your life. You don't just accept any type of manner. Even we're talking about spirituality. We know that we don't put just any type of food in our body. So we shouldn't be expecting any type of man into our life. All right. So understand that, y'all, that's going to go far. You can be a boss, but you still need to allow men to do what they're going to do in their life if they want to be there, period, point blank. And if you feel like, well, I don't want to be that way because I'm not going to have any men. If I have such high standards like that, that means you still have self-work to do, because it's you that has now taken on that role of the man. You shouldn't even be having to think that far. Okay. So, let me see.
Women are more powerful when they use their femininity anyway. You could get a man to do anything by being feminine.
Thanks.
All you have to do is act super feminine, helpless, da 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 da. I said act. And they will rush to help you. Can I help you? Can I rescue you? Let me do this for you. But if you're like, I got it, don't worry about it. I can do that. Oh, I got I'm this, I'm that. They don't see a way to impress you anymore. They don't feel masculine. So the most feminine woman can get the man to pretty much do anything for them. Anything. Like when I go out in heels and dresses and dressed up, nails, hair, lashes, looking, cute, men will rush to open a door for you. They will rush out of their way, walk faster to get in front of you to open that door. They will speak to you. They will smile, and things like that. But when you're looking your absolute worst and maybe on a more masculine look, jeans, t-shirts, sneakers, they treat you just like another dude. So you're not going to get that extra treatment. You're not going to get opportunities that you would get looking a certain way. People may give you free things. People may ask you, "Oh, you look like a nice person. Would you like a free facial today?" They're not going to offer a free facial to somebody that's not going to buy the product. So you got to go in there looking like people want to gravitate towards you. You know, you don't want to go in there looking like you want to repel people or wherever you're going. You don't want to repel people unless, and I hear a lot of ladies say, well, where I live, I have to dress like this because I don't want that attention. And I have to dress and act masculine because where I live, you know, guys be everywhere. Like, then get out the neighborhood, level up,
Mhm.
get yourself in a neighborhood where you don't have to act like a man, baby.
Exactly. And somebody asked, I know this is random, but again, y'all, I'm telling y'all, Shira, if y'all really serious about leveling up and all that, Shira has 2 groups that she can get you leveled up. But one asked, how can you be more, how can she tap into her femininity? That's what I've noticed a lot of women have. So what would you say to a woman who's still having problems of realizing what's feminine? What would be your main advice to a woman like that?
First of all, you need to wear the costume of a feminine woman. And I'm going to say costume.
Mm-hmm.
Costume, let's face it. You got to get dressed first. You have to look like a feminine woman because what you look like, you start to act like.
True.
Okay? If you're in a dress, you're not going to be acting masculine with your legs open and, you know, if your hair is done and you have makeup on, you're not going to be, you know, just talking like a dude, cursing, using slang. So try not to curse. Try not to use as much slang or trendy, you know, sayings. Try to use a softer tone voice. Don't yell. Don't scream. Don't talk over people. You know, use polite words like "excuse me," "yes." You know, pronounce all your words. You just need to sound like the type of woman that a man desires. You know what I mean? A man will look at a woman over there who's extra feminine and girly and dainty and like, dang, you know, that's sexy. But then he'll hear someone over here loud screaming and, you know, acting a fool cursing. And he's like, see, that's why I don't date this type of woman. So to be feminine is to be attractive to a man, first off.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you ugly, you're going to be more attractive to that man than a ratchet chick over here, you know, doing the most.
Mm-hmm.
So it's etiquette, it's how you speak, it's words you choose not to use profanity, and it's how you carry yourself and how your manners. Overall.
Exactly. So I hope that answered your question, y'all. But you know, just realize, like, especially if you feel like you've had issues in the area of relationships and dating, if you've been feeling like you've been getting the short end of the stick as a woman, that probably means you've been taking more of the masculine role on. You know, so it's like just start, reflecting. Start really tonight when you get off. Think about the relationships that you've had and think about what you would really truly as a woman want out of a relationship, not something that somebody else told you that it should be, or not because it's all these independent women's songs or any of that, but just truly think about what you want. And whatever it is that may be, understand that to get that, there are certain changes that you have to make within yourself. And that's why the beautiful thing, because I'm like, y'all know I like to talk about spirituality in regards to getting finances and getting abundance, but what we're talking about is the same thing, just 2 different aspects. You still have to work on yourself to get what you need, which is the key. That's why I saw one of ASHERA'S last videos about what she did. It was about something with the group, so she had to make another group to make sure that they're ready for the level up group. But you have to really take care of yourself. You have to have that relationship with yourself before you're ready to do any of this type of stuff, ladies. So, being feminine is getting back to, again, doing things that women do. When is the last time you went to get your nails done? When's the last time you got your feet done? When's the last time that you spent time with your girls? Like, it's just getting back into that. When you spend more time doing activities like that, you'll find everything, your outer shell also starts to change as well. So I just wanted to say that I also wanted to give a last chance for any questions because I know it's getting a little late, so I want to give a last chance for any questions that y'all have. And I also want to give a last chance, Ashera, if you have last words or food for advice or just a few things, if they didn't hear nothing else, if they've been trolling or whatever they've been doing, because I haven't even been able to keep up with the chat all night, but if they haven't heard anything else, what do you want to leave them with as far as this topic that we've been on tonight?
Okay. If you're not allowed to feel vulnerable and be feminine in the relationship that you're in, you are the man in the relationship. Okay. If you are not allowed or if you can't be feminine, that means if you're unable to dress up, look pretty, feel vulnerable and be feminine, and you could trust your man not to abuse the vulnerability or the take femininity as weakness. If you can't do that in your relationship, you're the man. You're playing the masculine role because you're afraid that if you are feminine, because I saw this in the comments, you're afraid that being feminine will equate weakness, and it doesn't.
Exactly.
If you're in that type of relationship where your man expects you to be a certain way or he'll act a certain way, then you're with a feminine man. And I'm not saying feminine as in like gay, but he's more feminine than he is masculine. And you have reverse roles. So I suggest being feminine at all times and letting that man adjust to that. If you have to check him and like, look, I should be allowed to be a woman. I let you be a man or, whatever. I don't want to be your mother. I want to be a lady. I want to go get my nails done. I want to relax. I want to drink wine and watch Lifetime while you go watch the game or whatever. I want to be a woman. I don't want to have to, threaten you every time. I don't want to have, you need to be able to trust and be vulnerable with that man. And the only way that women truly submit to any type of man is when they trust them. And when I say submit, I mean when they feel comfortable enough to be feminine in front of them, not do whatever they say, because that's called slavery. When a woman submits to a man and let a man lead and be the man, it's because she is secure that all her bills are paid. She doesn't have to worry about him going out and not coming home. She is secure that he's not going anywhere because he's invested too much into her, and it will cost him more to leave than to stay. She is secure that she can take off a couple years if she works to raise her children, and he's not gonna go crazy and say, what are you doing? That is submission. When you can let him take credit for taking care of you because you trust him to, he has the financial stability to. That's submission. When a man asks a woman to submit to him, that's what it should mean. But he's thinking you need to shut up even though I'm broke and let me pretend I'm running things. Because y'all know, I'm really not. They want the fake marriages are more of the 50-50 women. Those are the most type of fake marriages that you will ever see. Why? Because when they get out in public, that man is going to want to flex in front of his friends, his family. It's just not going to work out because he can't, because he's not taking care of his business. Okay? So those are the real fake relationships. The real relationships is when you see a lady fixing her man's plate at a barbecue and looking cute and dressed nice and giving him his plate and being fine with it. And because he just paid all the bills, he just took her shopping, her car notes paid, her insurance is paid, and she don't have to wake up early to go to anybody's job or sit in traffic. So she's okay with fixing him a plate in front of everybody and smiling. She's okay being a separate wife. So that is the true submission when you are trusting and you're comfortable and you're not worried about anything. That's true submission. Anything else is something made up and crazy and whatever. That's when a woman submits to a man. She knows he got her.
That's beautiful. Like that exactly. Like I hope that I'm not even gonna add to that. I'm just gonna move on to the next question. Like the one thing that I did want to ask, because I've seen this pop up again, and this could be the last question for the night, but KJ says, what is some advices for older women 35 plus?
Be careful on who you choose to date, because I always say if you're 35, date much older, because you're going to get treated better. You're going to be seen as young, and you're going to still be treated like you expect to be treated. If you're trying to date someone your same age, they can go date a 20-year-old. They're not going to be able to impress you like you need to be impressed anyway. Mm-hmm. They're at 35. So date older. And remember, don't talk about your career. Don't talk about your job. Don't talk about him. Let him talk. Gather your information so you know how to best seduce him. 48 laws of power, law of seduction type stuff. Follow those things and you could get whatever man you want.
Exactly. So it's like, I hope that helps y'all. I mean, I know this is probably going to be a video y'all can go back and watch, because Ashera has said a lot, dropped so many gems. So I hope that y'all enjoyed the bill. I'm going to give you the last chance, Queen, if you had any last words, but I'll go ahead and wrap it up because I don't want to hold you up all night.
One more thing to say. I have one more thing to say. Ladies need to deprogram themselves from thinking a woman is weak if she's feminine. Femininity is the strongest thing in the world. Okay. You can walk into a boardroom in a black suit, loafers, and a black blazer, hair pulled back in a bun, no makeup on, and glasses. No one is going to listen to you. You can walk up in there in a red dress, heels, red lipstick on, makeup flawless, and all eyes on you. Everybody's listening to you. You will command the power as a feminine female more than you will trying to compete as as a man. So stop thinking it's weak. It is the strongest thing you will ever be able to ever use in the world. It's what gets men up to go to work, even the dusty ones. Okay?
Y'all, with that being said, that's all you need to know. Like, she just broke down the whole conversation in one paragraph. All right. Key. So I enjoyed this build again, y'all. I know it's ASHERA'S 7-1. You have ASHERA'S Star Goddess. Y'all check out ASHERA. When I think this video should be uploaded immediately, but y'all know I'm gonna be making sure I share her work again in the comments. I've absolutely enjoyed you being on this with me. Hopefully we can do this again anytime. I can come on your channel, you can come back. Okay. Y'all, this is the first official Pretty Boss featured on Pretty Boss TV. She's a certified Pretty Boss goddess. So I enjoyed this build, sis. It was truly pleasurable. She has, y'all check her out. She got books. Somebody put her book in the chat earlier. I wanted to say it's too pretty to pay bills. So this ain't no lightweight we dealing with, y'all. Y'all know I don't just bring anybody on Pretty Boss TV. I'm only gonna bring certains. So again, Ashera, I appreciate this, sis. I just wanted to say that, and I'll let you, leave them with any last words before we go off. You can just tell them bye or whatever.
Okay, I'll just tell y'all my books. They're on Amazon. They're ebooks. Too pretty to pay bills. My books are short and to the point, just like I am.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't gonna be reading for 3 days. You're gonna be reading for like 1 day, and that's it. But it's almost like a guide instead of a book. I'm not gonna tell y'all my life story. I'm not going, talk about me. I'm just gonna give you what you need to know, get in and get out. I have my other book is How to Manifest Using the Dark Energy. And this is like When I say dark energy, I mean the universe, the ethers, darkness, what we manifest with. Um, and that's more on the spiritual side. So, how to get the life you want, manifesting using 97% of the universe. How about that? Okay, so because a lot of people think darkness is evil. No, look up in the sky.
Oh
So,
yeah, exactly. They if they on this channel, they should know a little, at least a little something about that dark energy. So yeah, we know that's where all the power is. That is the all. Okay.
So that book is also an ebook, and it's the same. It's a guide straight up. You won't be reading for days. And thank y'all for listening to me and giving me a chance, because I know some of you were probably not used to, my kind of thinking. But thank you for keeping an open mind.
All right. Well, with that being said, y'all, I hope that y'all enjoyed it. I seen the chat was lit, so I know that y'all enjoyed this. I wanted to say they were lit when I posted about you. Everybody was lit, so it was epic. I know this is gonna be great. I can't wait to go look at it again. Pieces. Glad you came through. Goddess. Again, reach out to me anytime. You got my Facebook. I'm be hitting you up. Hit me up anytime, sis.
Okay. Well, maybe sometime in the fall we could do this again, but on my channel.
Exactly. Anytime I'm down, we can get it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. And thank y'all for tuning in. Talk to y'all later. Love y'all. Peace.